curious if by adjusting these two things, let's do background jazz. Let's see if there's like a thing we can put together if this comes in from the other audio source.
Yeah, are you picking up a lot of background from my side, or?
No, it's not that. It's the difference between game and chat. So this thing has two settings on it. It's game and chat. And
So
I'm
it's on.
messing.
It's your thing that you want to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You know what? I'm just gonna throw the. Actually, these jazz things are always copyrighted. Let me find a different one. Copyright free. Copyright free jazz. That's not it either. No copyright, calm jazz. That's only 46 minutes. Man, like we're gonna be here for a bit. Hour and a half. Hour and a half I think is pretty good.
Oh, you're gonna put some background music on.
Just some super small background music.
I think that's actually really smart. I think that adds a little bit of ambiance that we need.
Holy shit! Did you guys change the restream text for the on screen?
If anybody did, it's Chris.
Okay,
I don't know.
It's thick. It is thick. Let me go ahead and make some quick adjustments. Like it's a big boy text now. Oh God. Oh no.
Oh yeah. Yesterday, what I was messaging about for the dice cam was like, it got out of focus. So we went to go focus it and it got bumped. And so we were like trying to adjust it. And the problem was where it was at, that cutout of the whole video wouldn't like move outside of that cutout.
Right.
So like when you expanded it, it would just expand the cutout area. So we wanted to try to like move the
there we go.
Move the square to a different part of the video. And I didn't really know how to.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
That's why I was. Yeah.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Anyway, hello to all of you joining us from YouTube and the slow trickle in coming from Twitch. We are here, myself and Garrett, the resident. You got your book. You got your yeah, baby. Wow, it's so crazy having new artwork for a codex.
What?
Imagine that.
Crazy.
I gotta be honest, it's actually pretty good. The artwork, like the Overlord in the front, it's not bad.
Yeah, I actually really like it.
So okay, well, I'll finish the intro. We are going to be chatting about the Necron Codex. It just came out, and we are the resident Necron fanboys here for the whole everything. So we're going to be talking about Necrons and chatting about the stuff. We're going to be going over the attachments, the enhancements, which I guess are kind of part of the attachments, as well as the various data sheets and all that other kind of fun stuff for the book.
Yeah, I found your favorite people in the book. You see them right there in the yellow?
Man,
your favorite faction ever.
You know, seeing the Silent King there means I know that they're going to be like, they're so gone. Okay, so a couple interesting things. One, it's really weird that Xandrek and Oberyn are gone, but they actually have lore in the book.
Yeah.
Like not an insubstantial amount either. Which was really wacky to me.
It makes me wonder if they're gonna get rules. If they're getting a new thing like in the future. So here's the thing: do you remember their rules for the index?
For Xandrek?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had like a vex.
We had
right?
like fights. Well, no, we had fights first.
That was for Oberyn.
And then Oberyn, and then the other one was he gives you get either sustained hits 1, lethal hits, or dev wounds. Like you roll off and you get one of those.
Right.
And
I'm
could
gonna
you
lower
imagine
you just
that?
down a little bit. But yeah, no, those are great, but I think he also gave a vect. I think Xandrek also gave a vect.
I low-key have the old indexes on my my phone, so I could find out. But I was like, man, I wish I could like have that now, because I think war scythes are okay now at 170. So like having those two, like lethal war scythe, could be really good.
War scythes on Lichguard?
Lichguard, yeah.
Wait, so okay, that do you have the points? Because the points in the book are already outdated.
Yeah, I have them in the
okay, can you link me them on Discord? Do you not have the full thing?
No, but I can get you real quick.
Okay.
While we start talking, I'll get you and everything, and then we'll have it up on the screen.
Okay, cool. So yeah, they definitely changed up. obviously, to all of our viewers on YouTube and Twitch that are joining us, if you have any questions, you may certainly ask as much as you'd like. Of course, as usual, subs and super chats are always very much appreciated to help support us on the Warhammer world. Ironically, for such an expensive hobby, it is not the most affluent content creation type of thing. So, but yes, always appreciated like usual. Oh, here we go. So yeah, obviously the book points are already outdated hilariously.
That's
but
funny, right?
So I think in order for us to talk a little bit more about this, I think we do need the points for this stuff. Did you post them? Oh, is that Imgur combo link in the group chat? Is that the one that is that updated? Is that correct?
Oh yeah, I think I did post it. Yes, those were
okay.
Yeah.
Silent King is 420.
Yeah, 420.
Nice. All right. Okay, I want to open that up so we can look at that as well at the same time. But yeah, so you played the Necron Codex yesterday with Atesh.
Yes.
How did you feel with your initial drop?
So I did a lot of my list itself. Do you want me to just go ahead and what I did for my list?
Yeah. What was your list?
So I did a lot of experimenting with my list to see what units are good right now and what, do stuff. So I brought the Nightbringer. I brought Orican with an Overlord with a Translocation Shroud.
Okay.
Into a 20-man warrior blob. Because I wanted to try the 4-up invul and see how tanky they are now, see what I can do with that and how long they last. I brought the usual Plantsmancer with the Immortals with the Teslas. I brought a Psychomancer because Psychomancer. And then I brought a Technomancer with the Wraiths, essentially. I brought 2 Canoptic Doomstalkers. I brought 2 6-man units of Scarabs. I brought Doomsday Arc, and I brought a 10-man Lich Guard unit. And so that was my list.
Real quick, chat. Let us know if we're off in terms of audio. I'm have to adjust the audio on this as well as you. You were too quiet, then I made you too loud, and now we're all in between. So just whatever chat is going for. Please let us know if in case I'm screwing up. Anyway, okay, so that you ran Canoptic Court, right?
I did run Canoptic Court. I put the Infiltrate on the Technomancer with the Wraiths, which is super nasty. Super nasty.
Infiltrate on the
Wraiths.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with the Technomancer 6 Wraiths on, they don't die.
Right, because they're 4 wounds now. And they still have their 4-up?
They have 4-up. They have a 3-up armor, 4-up. They have Technomancer that heals 1 for D3 at the end of the movement phase. Mind you, this. They have a 3-shot pistol that has dev wounds. Their melee is kind of
doo-doo, yeah.
But the goal of that is to just jump on their back home field objective and just kill whatever's on it. Then you have full rerolls.
Well, you also have a drive-by. You have a fly over and do mortals.
Yes. Oh, you want to know something else?
That's
up? Kind of cool. They got 2 OC.
They do. They do have 2 OC. Oh no. Oh no. And because they're Canoptic, they do benefit if from the full rerolls. If you
you have a Technomancer in it, it's a Cryptek or a Cryptek or a Canoptic. Yes.
Right.
So it's one of those two. As long as something's leading them, they fully have it. If it's just like Scarabs or something, then they get full rerolls.
Right, but it's reroll 1s, full rerolls if they're in your shadow of Necrons or whatever, right?
Power Matrix,
whatever the hell, the shadow of Necrons.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, Yadigan Saber and goodbye, people. Oh, goodbye. Thank you for the resubs, you two, the Prime sub and the resub.
Thanks, dude.
Okay, so was that your MVP for the game?
They were pretty good, dude. the combo of immortals with full. Okay, so here's the combo.
The Plasmancer, yeah.
You put the Plasmancer with the 10 immortals. They have sustain hits too. So that's pretty cool. And then you're like, okay, the Plasmancer makes them crit on 5. So here's the fun part. You get them full matrix. Full matrix, mind you, this. You give them full matrix, they get full rerolls. So you're fishing for those sustain hits too. So you almost double your hits, right? Because they hit on 3s. Here's the fun part. What's Immortal's abilities?
Yeah.
So
Full rerolls to wound on an objective.
No, not they don't have to be on objective. The enemy does.
No, that's what I meant. It's reroll once to wound, or if you're attacking someone.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so you're just like, boy, it's time for some devs.
Right. 2 CP.
Here's the fun part. Guess what's a battle tactic?
Oh, it is a battle tactic. And you could put a crypt deck with an overlord because they're basically lieutenants. Oh no.
Or hear this. Shoot them with 20 warriors and then give them it.
Oh, I didn't know it was a battle tactic. This whole time I was like, I mean, this looks good, but it's 2 CP. Like, it's kind of pricey.
For that unit, I think it needs to be 2 CP, but the fact that you could do that twice is gross.
No, I mean, it should be 2 CP. I didn't realize it was a battle tactic.
There's a lot of battle tactics in that one.
What else? We got Curse of the Cryptek as a battle tactic.
So, since we're talking about
it's
it
just
right
the 2, actually.
Do you want to just go over the detachment?
Yeah, let's go over the detachment. Let's save Canoptic Court for the last, because Canoptic Court is clearly the best one. Well, maybe not clearly. It's damn good.
Damn good. So, I guess we just start with.
Should we just go left to right?
You want to start with the sad boy first, get it out of the way, so we don't have to.
No, let's go left to right. Let's do Awakened Dynasty first, just because it's the easiest to talk about.
Yes. Okay.
So, I mean, Awakened Dynasty, we all know, if a character is leading a unit, it gets +1 to hit.
That's good.
It's a sizable buff. I mean, genuinely, like it's a genuinely sizable buff.
So it takes Necron's ability. So that's the thing, is I forgot that how bad they shoot.
As in, like, their strength?
They're a lot of their units are 4 to hit. And
the Canoptics are, yeah.
Canoptics, Warriors.
And Warriors. I think it's just Canoptics and Warriors.
Which is like the base of your stuff. Outside of it is what your Immortals are 3, and
like Lichguard are 3, Death Marks are 3. Actually, I think Death Marks are 2. Like Scorpex are 3. Like it's like half 4, half 3.
Hey, so it takes it up pretty good. Especially with Wraiths. Oh man, those become a powerhouse at that point. But the problem with Wraiths is they're -1 AP.
Yeah, being 6/1/2 is a little.
But you can give them +1 AP in this detachment.
Oh, and Dynasty, because for the most part, it's mostly the same as before. Veil of Darkness is roughly the same. Netherrealm Casket was nerfed. It went from stealth and cover outside 12 to just stealth.
Which is, I mean, that's still -1 hit, still good.
The Phasal Subjugator is the Sovereign Coronal, just a little different. Mm-hmm. And then you still have the 4-up Feel No Pain, but you can't put it on the Transcendent Baton.
Put it on the Transcendent Baton.
Which,
so I don't think I don't know what you would want to put. Maybe like a
CCB.
Yeah, you would want that.
They actually buffed the Barge too.
I think it's too expensive because it gets shot. Well, I think the CC you can res the CCB, right? Like same with Zera in this detachment, which makes it
Necrons. Nope. Hold up.
Unless you might not be able to do it with vehicles.
Necron infantry character. Yeah.
Yep. No, but you can do it with.
You can do it with Luminor Xerath.
Yep.
Xerath is unkillable. He is insane.
He's crazy.
So the CCB did get a new rule. It got strength above -1 to wound.
Yeah,
And it
still
does have
think
a 4-up
it's
invul. It's like T8, 9 wounds, 4-up invul, and then they have like the Lich Guard thing where strength above means -1 to wound, which is like not bad. And then if you put a 4-up feel no pain on that, it does become genuinely pretty tanky. Like I would take a CCB almost only if I was running it with the 4-up feel no pain. That's probably the only time I would ever take it with the CCB.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I would take a command barge in any other faction except for that one. Sorry not to cut you off, but Ti Matt B, thanks for the 10-month resub on Twitch. And real quick, just some dude did a $10 super chat and said, it's pretty crazy the GW casually dropped what the Necrons look like before biotransfer. Yeah, I was gonna say that. Did you notice that in the book? Dude, roll back in the front. They literally have like images of artistic renditions.
I thought they had that already.
No, they never did. It was let me find the picture. It's the story about the Silent King. It's page 36. Page 36. It's like
I'm going as fast as I can.
it's the story of the Silent King. Like it's crazy.
Oh.
I mean, obviously, it's not like an actual living Necron. It's like kind of.
I want the Silent King looking like this bad
Right?
boy, dude. That'd be a cool little model.
It's like a blurred out version. Obviously, you can see him leading his folks and
It's
stuff.
cool.
I
thought yeah.
But like yeah, it's like his whole story. It's kind of crazy that you're just like, oh yeah, here you go.
I just figured they look like just giant boils of cancer, but I guess I was wrong.
I'm pretty
cool.
sure. I'm pretty sure their bodies were based on their appearance. But yeah, like for the Awakened Dynasty, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, it's the same as it was before. A few things got nerfed. You know, like the reanimating part, like Undying Legions is still good. Reviving a character is still good. Like this is the most, in my opinion, middle ground attachment in the book. I think it's dead center in the 5. What do you think?
Yeah. This is the one that this attachment is what nerfed Warriors. I can already tell you that, which is a bummer.
The Awakened Dynasty?
Because the only reason I feel like they got nerfed was because of Protocol and Undying Legion. They wanted to make sure that this one wasn't the best, so it looks like they nerfed a lot of the things that were good to bring down to try to allow you to diversify a little bit. It seems like.
Yeah.
So that I guarantee Protocol and Undying Legion is why they were like, nah, they don't get D3 plus 3 no more. I think that's why, because you could do it every single turn, and then not only that, the old Res Orb, you would do it every turn.
Right. You know, crazy enough though, I never saw anyone ever use Undying Legions on Warriors because no one brought Warriors. They brought like Immortals.
They brought the Lich Guard.
Lich Guard, sorry, yeah, Lich Guard.
Yeah, the Lich Guard were, because you'd use that on Lich Guard too. So
yeah, them being like Warriors being. We'll get to Warriors when we talk about.
Yeah, we'll get to Warriors. Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about my personal favorite, the Annihilation Legion.
My old friend.
I know you like your destroyers, and this does suck ass. Would you call this one this isn't the worst? The next one's the worst.
I think this is the worst.
You think this is better than or worse than Obeisance?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I think the models are better in the next one.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, so Annihilation.
So yeah,
Legion.
let's read it, and then we'll read the 2, and then we'll see what chat thinks, and we'll ask chat, and we'll come up with like what we think.
All right. So we have Annihilation Protocol, which is Destroyer Cult and Flayed Ones units reroll charges, and if the enemy's below half, they add 1 to the charge. Reroll charges doesn't suck. It's pretty good.
It should be like it's like a base ability for like a unit. It shouldn't be like an army thing. Like, don't get me wrong. Here's the thing, right? You run max. I think the problem is that it doesn't allow you to trade up as well as you used to, and I think that's the biggest problem that they're suffering from. I think they do damage now, and I think Scorepack destroyers are pretty good. Like, they're okay now. It's just it doesn't allow them to trade up to where they need to, and so that's what you kind of want. And so, I don't know if you get that.
So okay. So here's my thought with Annihilation Legion, right?
Yeah.
It's like reroll charges is a good ability. It is genuinely a good ability.
Yes.
Add one to the charge from below half will like never come up. And when it does, it's like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot. I actually think the enhancements and strats are not terrible.
Oh no, yeah, no, I don't think they're.
That's why I put it above Obeisance, because like Eternal Madness is an enhancement for 4-up fight on death.
I think 4-up fight on death's not good.
Right.
I think it's mediocre. I think it's. So here's the thing, right? So I the only reason I base that on is I base it on Black Templars. We're able to get a 3-up.
Sure.
And that's so much more reliable because I have 10 bodies.
Well, is that a strat?
In that unit. Yes, it's a strat.
So this is an enhancement for the unit.
Yes.
And also, I was thinking, like, you put it on a Scorpec Lord with a bunch of Scorpec Destroyers. When they 4-up fight on death, but like, if you're in like a solid pit, you keep on reanimating them, like it's 4-up fight on death for your whole 6-man unit plus Scorpec Lord forever. Like, it never goes away. It is 4-up fight on death forever.
I still think 4-up. I think if it was 3-up, it'd be way. I think
Well,
what it should be 4-up. But if a Scorpec Lord is in the unit, then it's a 3-up, and then it would be very good because then it allows you to jank.
I mean, it's combined with a couple other things here. So Ingrained Superiority is +1 AP on hits those of 6. That's pretty bad because you have to put it on the character. Like, you should put that on flayed ones, but you don't have anything that can lead flayed ones, so it's stupid.
Yeah.
Soulless Reaper is a 3-up. You can't fall back. That is good. That's very good.
As again, Black Templar player, a 3-up no fallback is game winning.
That's extremely good. And then you have at the start of fight phase, they have to take a battle shock test, which is whatever. So I'm not like, okay, let me make this clear. This is still bad. I'm not saying this is good, but I think there are funny situations where it can be somewhat useful. For example, like you have a 1 CP -1 a hit in the shooting or fight phase, whatever. You have a 1 CP, you target enemy unit that's below half at one of the hits, or below starting at one of the hit, below half at one of the wounds. It's fine, whatever. Murderous Reanimation, you destroy an enemy unit, you automatically reanimate. Kind of fun. It's not as good as the prior one, but it's okay. You get a 6-inch Pilot and Consolidate, which we all know movement tech is how you win games. So that's not bad. You also have a 1 CP when the opponent falls back, you do mortals and then can make a normal move afterwards, which is also pretty nasty. And lastly, you have a 1 CP after you've been shot. You may then make a normal move like Blood Surge. So they're like pretty good movement tech. It's still bad, but it's pretty good movement tech. I know. I'm coping pretty hard right now, but like...
No. Hey, don't get me wrong. I love Annihilation. There's some really cool movement jank you could do with it. It just sucks for the second half of the Destroyer Cult, which is shooting. I mean, don't get me wrong. You could like be. They don't get an army roll. That's the thing, is they just don't get a detachment roll, which is like kind of a bummer, but it's like, it's cool though. Like, you just do one of those fat blobs of with what's a Destroyer Lord and
6 Scorpex.
The Locust Lords.
Yeah.
Jump out, shoot the shit out of something, and then go behind cover. Is kind of cool. Like, that's cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. Like, you could do a lot of like cool stuff like that. It's just, I feel like it would be way better if the detachment rule was like, we'll help everything, not just a single unit.
Okay, so yes, the detachment rule is dog water. That's totally true. But like in my brain, in my silly Bricky wants to find dumb things to work brain,
I love it.
6 Scorpec Destroyers and a Lord together is 300 points. That's a little overpriced, but it's like not egregious. And so what that gets you, right, is the 6 Scorpecs, they're 4 attacks each, 7/2/2, once per game, dev wounds, reroll hit rolls of 1, full rerolls to hit if you made a charge, which you'll be making a lot more of because you got full rerolls to charge, the whole thing. T6, 3 wounds, 3 up save, 8-inch move. Scorpelek Lord is like 4, like T7, 7 wounds, 4 up invul, a few shots, gives them lethal, and gives them like a charge mortals thing,
Dude, the Scorpex Lord
But at the same
has
time,
a worst has
dude, the fact that he has 4 attacks,
is
I know it's so
rough,
bad.
dude.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
Okay, here's the silly part, right?
What's up?
They're like, okay, let's give Scorpex Lord lethal hits, right?
Yeah,
And then it's gonna go into a unit that wants to do death wounds.
You're right. Yep.
And so you're like, why
yep.
don't you just make him have sustain hits 1?
Yep, I know.
And
like I said,
I mean,
it's the second worst. But I'm just saying. I'm visualizing like 3 max squads of Scorpex with lords with like these random enhancements and stuff, and just kind of like pushing and just kind of seeing what happens. Like I wonder, like, what if you just can't deal with that? Like it's pretty chunk.
So here, you know what else you do? I think that's where you take 2 CCBs with Resorbs and then you point at them to give them the D6 Resorb.
at the end of the phase.
Yeah. Because you're able to do that with them. So that might be kind of the area to do it.
The Scorpec Lord has his little mortals on the charge, I guess, but like I know it's not good, but it's just like someone in chat made a great point. A Technomancer in 6 wraiths is 280, so it's 20 points less, which just like curb stomps this entire idea.
I wonder if I wonder if Necrons are gonna get a point changed in the balance update. I feel like they're gonna lower some things.
I mean, if like wraiths and techno go up like from 280 to 300, I don't think that's a problem because it's clearly very good.
Yes.
If Scorpex and Scorpec Lord went down like 30, like, listen, it's funny. The concept is funny to me, and it makes me think about funny things.
Dude, one thing I wish that you and I could do if it wasn't a mirror match, and mirror matches, right? Is I wish you could take Annihilation Legion and I could take the other one I'm talking about and be like, which one's actually the worst?
Which one's the most terrible? I'm seeing like the stuff here, and I'm imagining a situation in which we're in like massive tar pit melee, and you're killing off my Scorpex, and then like I'm just constantly rolling 4-ups to fight on death, and then bringing them back alive, and then doing it again because like, oh, here comes a guy, falls, fight on death, back guy, falls, fight on death. It's a whole thing. It's not good. It's very bad. It also does jack shit to all of the shooting destroyer cults.
Yeah, I mean, but you have the you have like the movement stuff, right? So it's not like horrible for them because it's more like you're moving them where you need to get the shots, I guess. But besides that, it's like it doesn't allow you to like hit up with anything that you need to. And I think that's the problem with this detachment.
I agree. It's not good. It's funny, but it's not good. Real quick, came into Starties. Thanks for the $2 super chat. I always love listening to Dice Check Book Club.
All
right, let's go to the next one.
Actually, before we start, stop it. I'm very curious. What detachment rule do you think would be good for them? Just on the spot. What do you think would be something that would be pretty good for them?
Destroyer cults?
Yes.
Like something like the old Black Legion one from 9th CSM. Like, if you charge or shoot at the closest enemy unit, you get like +1 to hit or some kind of bonus. From the old CSM, something that like forces murder, but it's like short-sighted. Like only if you shoot the closest enemy unit, you get like either +1 to hit or +1 to hit on the charge and like +1 to your charge if you charge the closest unit. Something like that, because then you get a little bit of destroyers, you get both in melee and shooting, and something along those lines, I'd probably say.
I wish there was something that was like you get +2 strength to your weapons, and then on the charge you get +4. It pushes it
+4 strength.
So here's why. Here's why. Here's
Okay.
why. So for Scorpex destroyers, that 4 only puts you at strength 11, right? You're already at 7.
No, just give him lance.
You could do something like that.
+1 to wounds.
But here's why, right? So +2 puts Scorpex Lord at whatchamacallit. It only puts it at strength 4. It puts it wounding Big Knight on 4, which is like super cool in my opinion. Screw the haters. I think that's kind of cool. But Ophidian destroyers only have strength 4.
No way.
Yeah.
Do they actually?
Yes. And so here's the thing, right? So your shooting stuff though doesn't get insane. So like it helps your shooting,
my God,
right?
He ain't lying.
So it doesn't hurt your shooting, right? Because it gives you +2 to the shooting of the things, but you don't get the +4 strength. So it's not like super egregious because a lot of the shooting's already like you're hitting shit pretty fucking hard anyways. So
yeah, I mean, maybe something like critical wounds give +1 AP for like the entire detachment or something like that. Like I'm not quite sure. You are like maybe like a lance or something so you can wound up.
So like another example for +2 for a Locust Destroyer. Let's say you go Locust Destroyer, right?
Sure.
So +2 gives it strength 7. So you wound Custody Terminators on 2. I mean Custody Terminators on 4. So it's good for like infantry. So it like makes the units good for what they need to do. And then let's say you run the Locust Heavy Destroyers, +2 puts your Eminic Exterminator to strength 8. So it's just good for infantry. It doesn't excel at like killing vehicles. It gets really good at what it needs to do.
So I guess maybe I'm looking at it from more of like what is the easiest change that can be made that GW would like actually make? Because like they don't like to screw around with like add 2 strength to all your stuff because it's like so much math. They like the smaller versions.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's a little difficult. It's just it depends on how you write it.
Yeah. I think that would make him pretty decent.
You could mess around with Battle Shock too, because they like they're scary murderers. I don't know. Battle Shock isn't great, but it's like a thing.
Psychomancer.
Yeah. Psychomancer. Anyway, it's bad, but we'll move on.
So we'll jump over that one and we'll go to Phalanx.
Oh, we're gonna jump over.
You want to do court?
Let's do court. Let's do court.
Oh, okay, we'll do court.
All right. So the court, it's Shadows of Chaos. Your deployment zone's always in it, and then you also is it at the beginning of the phase you get the new one.
Yes. So it's whenever at the start of any phase. So like let's say you move on to it, it's the starting your shooting phase, you have it.
Yeah, okay. So you move you get first turn, you like infiltrate in, you move on one objective, your opponent's not there yet. No Man's Land has now become Power Matrix.
So get this fun part, right? So here's a cool little thing. The reason I took Scarabs was for 80 points for 6 units, 4 wounds, blow up in your face if need be, screen. So I was playing Custodies, and I was like trying to like they're gonna pick me up if they get in melee. So I needed a screen. Guess how Scarabs changed this edition?
Oh, well, besides
next to a Cryptek, when they're
besides
next to
getting
a
an extra wound, or
no, when next to a Cryptek, they get 1 OC.
Oh, Scarabs! I thought you meant Wraiths.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Sorry. Yep. Yeah, Scarabs. Yeah, they get an extra OC. Yeah.
You advance them forward, and then you have a unit with a Cryptek in it move up, and then you have your Wraiths move on to an objective, and then you're like, hey, guess what I could shoot with? Everything.
They also still do their hilarious mortal wound slam.
Just the blow up in the face is kind of cool.
Yeah, which though they did nerf them. They on a 6 it was D3 plus 3 mortals, which was hilarious. Now it's just flat 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, so court is fun on that one. But I think for the most part, like, court is really good because you get reroll ones army wide or full, well, because you're taking the right stuff.
If you take the
or full rerolls to hit for your deployments / if you control the center, which is just insane.
Yeah.
normally like they would bring this down by making its enhancements and strats weaker to make up for the good rule, but they did not do that at all.
Dude, they have some cool stuff, buddy.
Like, okay, like here's the obvious one. Dimensional Sanctum. That Technomancer in your 6 wraiths infiltrating is like this is just
so good.
Oh my god. Ridiculous. You also have, what is this? Reroll a wound roll of 1 if you are wholly within the power matrix.
It's okay. I mean, it could be really good in like maybe a warrior squad.
Yeah. The Auto Divinator is an extra CP for every time your opponent gains their extra CP, which is like okay. I mean, like, there might be the problem where you run into a situation where your opponent doesn't get that, but like if you're fighting guard and they have Leontis or something and they're just getting a CP every damn time, it's like, cool, I do too.
Yeah, I think it's good, and it's like 10 or 15 points, so it's pretty cheap for an enhancement. So it's like, that's an enhancement when you're like, hey, I got like 10 or 15 points and I don't know what to do. I just throw it on something and you have it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an extra little helpful. Yeah. The Metal Dermal Tesla Weave is from 9th edition. It's I charge you, you do mortals.
Yeah, it's okay.
It says when the enemy is the target of a charge, which is kind of fun. So you'll do the mortal wounds before they even maybe make it. They might fail their charge.
No, they gotta charge into you.
It says,
when an enemy unit selects the bearer's unit as a target of a charge.
Yeah, selects the bearer's unit.
Oh, okay. I thought you said when. So okay, sorry.
No, basically, I'm imagining like I'm gonna charge you, and it's like a marine character with 2 wounds left, and you're like, hold on, and he just like dies immediately.
It's a Psychomancer. I mean, yes. The Plasmancer. Fuck you.
Yeah, just points at him. It's a fun little addition because you know, there'd be a situation where you might charge in with Terminators, then you do 3 mortals, like, oh, my Terminator died before he even got in.
Dude, so the first the first stratagem reminds me of like the image when you use it is like the Cryptek dies and it's slowly fading into the ground and it's just middle finger at the dude as they're going down. Yeah, exactly. Is what I envisioned with that.
So yeah, a Cryptek model dies, and then for the end of the battle, each time a Canoptic model. So it's specifically Canoptic. It's like little his server. So it's not like your whole army with Crypteks in it. It's only Canoptics.
Yeah, so that's your Doomstalkers, your
Wraiths,
Scarabs, kind of stuff like that.
Which is pretty hilarious. And then of course, I mean, you already talked about the Immortal combo earlier, but the Cynosure of Eradication is just.
Oh, it's so gross.
I mean, it's like, what is it? It's like 2 shots each for each Immortal. So you're probably getting around 46 like actual hits because you're fishing.
Yeah.
And then you reroll your wounds, so you're getting like 10 to 12 mortals.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It's the dev wounds thing. It's really good. Not to mention, you know, the Plasmancer has like the here's a bunch of mortals point at you thing, and he still has like a gun.
Yeah, his gun is actually kind of okay for a 55-point model, to be honest. It's like 3 shots. What is it? It's like 3 shots that like 3 damage.
It's not like that. He also had.
It's 2 damage. Like 3 shots, strike 7, -3 AP, 2 damage.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
And then the fact this is a battle tactic, it does mean it can be vect, but like the fact that it's a 2 CP battle tactic that can go to 0 with an Overlord is kind of the icing on the cake that makes this thing pretty insane.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I mean, it allows you to hit up where you need it. So and then also it's another good thing to pair with that dev wounds, by the way, or shooting with the Necrons.
The ignore cover.
Oh, they also got to ignore cover.
Only on an objective marker,
which generally has
enemy units on it.
Units on it, yeah, which usually have cover on it for the most part.
Yeah, so like it's just basically point there and then get rid of the cover. They have a 1 CP. It's so stacked, man. They have a 1 CP move away from enemies with Canoptic units, which is just, if you like stand next to 9 inches, which is just insane. Oh, let's not forget the blown up strat.
The Nurgle strat.
Yeah, the Nurgle strat. I totally
So
forgot they
good.
had that.
So good, dude.
Oh my god, I totally forgot they had that. So your giant block of wraiths either gets blown up or your Doomstalker in the way back of the map cannot be shot.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even.
Mm-hmm.
And then a canoptic unit. After your opponent declares a charge, they regenerate.
That's the biggest fuck you.
It's
I love
so annoying.
You want to charge my race? Okay, here's a brand new one back at 3 wounds and 5 up, feel no pains. Have fun with that bad boy.
God, that's so aggravating to deal with. Not to mention, oh well, no, you won't have a red sword because the wraiths don't run with an overlord. But
here's the thing though, is you can, again, CCB, you can do it there because they get infantry from the Technomancer.
Oh, they do. I was like,
yeah.
Infantry, mounted. I think it's a little unfortunate how like wildly better Canoptic Court is than most of the other detachments.
Yeah, what it does is it gives Necrons help where they want the help.
Yeah, which
and
is
I think that's
rolls.
what it does. Yeah,
hit rolls and Cryptex are right now just really good. Like,
which I'm so happy they're good. I'm happy Plasmancer's good, dude. It needed something because I painted. I've never used it. Even in 9th, I've never used it.
I used to run triple Plasmancer because I would point at like one guy and just do like 9 mortals in 9th. And then if they got close to me, they would splash mortals again.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, this was back when what the hell was the rule with characters in Lookout Sir?
Oh yeah, Lookout Sir.
Yeah, Lookout Sir.
Oh,
so
that's right, because it allowed you to work around that. That's right.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Canoptic Core is pretty nuts.
money. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so let's go to the next one.
Yep.
Let's go to what I think is the worst one in the game. Or in the book. We're swapped on Annihilation Legion, but you know.
Yeah.
So Obation's Phalanx. It's oaths, but for Overlord, Lichguard, and Triarch units, except it's instead of rerolls to hit, it's +1 to wound.
That's insane. That's so good. That's Botan. That's Botan, dude.
No.
So good.
No, it's not. It's you only pick 1 enemy unit. Votan picked 4.
Well, I mean, it's still so good. It's so much better than
I don't know. I take oaths over that. I take full rerolls to hit over +1 to wound.
Well, here's the funny part. This is why where it might be bad, because half the thing don't work with it because they didn't give the right keywords to stuff.
That's the reason I hate this one so much.
I think I have a big spot in my heart for this because this seems like such a fucking cool detachment too. Like you just have this like elite warriors of the Necrons coming with the Silent King kind of thing to just eradicate everything off the face of the planet. And that's
But
yeah.
Silent King doesn't have the keyword.
He is the king. What the fuck? He is the Triarch.
It's like Triarch units, but not the Triarch. Why?
Yeah.
Like he does not have the keywords. Imatech doesn't even have the keywords. And he's an overlord.
I don't think Triarch Stalker even has the keyword, dude.
Xerez doesn't have it. Trazen doesn't have it, and he's also an overlord. Orikin does not have it. He's a Cryptek though.
The Triarch does have it. Never mind.
But so it's literally just overlords, the regular and translocations shroud, Triarch Praetorians, and Lichguard, and that's
Lichguard don't have it.
No, Lichguard.
Oh, they get it from They
get it from the thing, yeah. Triarch Praetorians, which are dog shit. And the Catacomb Command Barge doesn't have it either. He's vehicle, character, and fly.
Does it have, or is it
considered
Overlord though?
No, it's not Overlord. The only ones that have Overlord are the Overlords. It's just them two.
I think if they fix it and make things, I think it's not that bad. But it just doesn't have the things.
So that's why I think it's worse, is because the things don't have the things. If the things had the things, I think it would be better.
Yeah.
But like don't get me wrong, +1 to wound oaths is good. Like it's a great buff. But it means it's only working on Triarch Praetorians. I guess the Triarch Stalker, but that thing is awful.
Well, if you put a overlord
in a unit.
in a unit, they get it.
Right, but that means the only units that get anything are overlords themselves, warriors, immortals, and Lichguard, and Triarch Praetorians and Stalkers. So there's only 6 units in the entire codex that gets anything out of this, which is really bad.
So I think the detachment's better written. I think that the units that it goes on, but sometimes it's like even the units for like destroyers are like kind of in the same boat.
Sure, but at least like, I don't know, like +1 to wound is good, but not when you're firing at them with like immortals with like 5/1/1 and 4/1/1 on warriors, and Triarch Praetorian models are awful. So
okay, I'm sorry, but look at the enhancement right now, and I love the first one. It's stupid, and I love it. It's so cool.
So the enhancements and the strats are pretty fun. I like the Annihilation Legion strats more because of the movement tech, and that's why I think it might be better. But yeah, what's this? If each time the bear's unit destroys an enemy character, your opponent loses 1 CP. It's really funny.
Dude, it's great.
I find it hilarious because it's called Honorable Combatant, and that's like the most dishonorable thing I can think of.
It just spits on his face and loses CP.
And that's like what, like -1 to hit in melee only. And then like the Overlord model, which remember it's only the two, has precision and anti-infantry 5 up, which is like, I guess you're fishing for the dev wounds and like a void scythe or something.
Yeah.
And then full rerolls to hit on an objective marker for an Overlord, which you would like combine with like immortals for full rerolls to hit and wound, which is like okay.
Or like Lich Guards with scythes or something like that might be really, really good.
Yeah,
with the trans whatever location, so you're auto moving 6, you're getting where you need to get, and then that could be pretty nasty. And then there's each time a melee attack targets the bearer's unit, subtract 1 for the hit roll.
Yeah, which is too. It's fine. What really throws, but the problem with me is that the Overlords, like you would put that on a Lichguard brick, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's the issue with me is like the strats are also really weird. The first one is you kill an enemy warlord for the rest of the battle. They have -1 to battle shock and leadership, which is like fine. But then there's like nano assembly protocols. When you get shot, your Necron vehicle gets -1 damage, which is like, you know, cool. But why are you running a Necron vehicle?
Like I still think like your Doomsday arcs are good, 200 points. I think they're pretty nasty. I think they're really good home field just holders and just fuck off gun.
But they don't get any buffs from any part of the entire detachment.
The only buff that they will ever get in the game, well, outside of detachment, is if you have this what's the Awakened Dynasty one? Wait, they don't have the one that gives you the Aura of Leadership. They got rid of that. I just noticed that.
What Aura of Leadership?
Oh, never mind. They do have the Fazil Subjugator in the Awakened Dynasty. Would give like
the Sovereign Colonel thing. Yeah. But
change the name of it.
It's bizarre because there's that. There's like Lichguard or Triarch get precision, which is whatever. 4-up fight on death, which is whatever. And then Lichguard or Triarch Praetorians get +1 to their OC. Wait, what the heck?
Crits.
Wait,
crits on 5.
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, what? Territorial Obsession. When your command phase, 1 Lichguard or Triarch Praetorians from your model. Until the start of your next command phase, add 1 to the OC models in the unit. If your unit is a vehicle, add 3. It's for Lichguard or Triarch Praetorians only. What do you mean if your target's a vehicle? What do you mean? What? This physically doesn't work.
Is there any vehicles that can go into? Nothing can lead.
Like the command barge doesn't count because it doesn't have the things. Like this has to be massive amounts of mistakes. I'm assuming
You want to know what you want? I think it is. I think it's for
the
no,
Treyarch Stalker.
That, or they forgot the keyword of that, or like the Silent King.
But it says Lichguard or Treyarch Praetorian.
I think they forgot something.
It
has to be a typo because it's meant for either them or like the Silent King or like a CCB.
I'm assuming it's for a CCB specifically. Yeah. But like it's literally like it is completely written incorrectly. Like it physically does not work. That's why.
I mean,
that's
it works,
why I hate
but it doesn't work for anything.
For the vehicles.
I still think Lichguard with it is really good.
Treyarch Stalker, but no, it says Lichguard or Treyarch Praetorians, not Treyarch. It says Praetorians, not Treyarch.
It says both. Like it's yeah.
You know, it could be meant to be Lichguard or a Treyarch model. They could. I bet they copy pasted it incorrectly because the one right above it is Lichguard or Treyarch unit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, it physically does not work. That's why I like Annihilation Legion more, because at least their stuff works.
For half of their units, though. Remember that.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I think we settle on they're both super janky.
I agree, but like out of principle, at least it functions it's written properly.
For like half of you, Scorpex Destroyers, you get something.
Hey,
everything else, no.
Locusts still get full charges. At least it doesn't like literally write them out of the stratagem. I don't know. Like obviously the king is supposed to have this. Like I'm assuming because
it's supposed to be like Triarchs, and they're supposed to be like it's probably like supposed to be like Triarch and Triarch Praetorians, but whatever.
I'd assume I'm assuming like.
We'll probably get like an FAQ pretty soon.
Yeah, like Trazen's an overlord. So is Imatech. Like I don't know why they don't have it. The CCB is an overlord.
Mm-hmm. Well, you throw it. Well, the thing is like, don't you throw it? No, the leader doesn't get the keywords, right? It gives the keywords.
Well, the unit has the keywords.
So if he goes into Lichguard, he already has it, so it doesn't matter.
Correct. Yeah. So
it's just like Silent King.
Oh. Like I guess like a Cryptek in a Lichguard unit would therefore get the keyword of Lichguard. But it's like I don't know what like would really matter with this whole thing, especially because if you notice in enhancements, it's only Overlord. All 4 are only Overlord models.
That's where you're not going to give them characters anyway, so.
Yeah, so this is why I hate this one. Christopher Clayton, thanks for the $2 super chat. They should have used the noble keyword instead. I agree. The noble keyword would have solved a ton of problems instead of Overlord. Because noble is the king, the CCB, I think, and a bunch of other stuff, was it? Wait, the king doesn't even have noble.
He doesn't. No, he has nothing.
So Imatech has noble. Trazen has noble. The Overlords have noble. The CCB doesn't have noble either, so all it would do is give it to Imatech and Trazen.
But they're already gonna get it because they're gonna join Lichguard anyways. Or
well, you're not taking Trazen because he's absolute trash. But yeah, it's gonna be a huge keyword. I'm actually shocked this came out into print. This is a huge error. This is like not even usual Games Workshop fuckery.
So here's what I don't understand. Is why every single Overlord in this book doesn't have a Res Orb. Tell me why. If you go look at Imotech right now, his picture, he has a Res Orb on the top of his staff. You look at Trazen right now, he's got a Res Orb at the top of his staff. Why don't they get Res Orbs? I think they would make them at least okay. Could you imagine being Trazen the Infinite, and then you're like, oh, I need a Res Orb over here, have a Res Orb.
I don't think that's a Res Orb. I think it's just a funky Necron ball.
So in the book, it's on his staff.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, then for Trazen, definitely then.
Yeah, even I think they all have Res Orbs on their staffs. I think that's just generally because if you look at the guys holding it, but a lot of them have it on their staffs.
I mean that doesn't bug me too much. I would like the option to give one, but I agree with you on the Trazen part because
that would make him so cool.
He's so bad. and 2, at least it would give him the damn thing he used in the book.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, you could teleport here to use a res orb. Makes more sense.
Like I don't
get some
mind
utility
them.
for that.
I don't mind them not having it for game purposes, but like give the poor guy a res orb. He's like genuinely, I'd argue, the worst model in the entire codex, outside of like the obelisk.
There's some bad ones.
There's some bad ones. Anyway, Hypercrypt Legion.
Okay, so this is the other funky fun one.
I'd say it's the second best. Yeah, I'd say it's second best.
I think it's a pretty close contender. So for the best one is, I've heard an argument for both sides. I just think in time we will see which one will
between
become
this
better.
and Canoptic.
Yes, because yeah, it'll take time to kind of let it flesh out, but I think these two are both a very pretty competitive choice.
So let me tell you something. So first things first. Detachment rule. It's literally just Grey Knights.
Yes.
Three units get pulled off the field at the end of your opponent's turn and get brought back.
Mm-hmm.
Important thing to note: you do not regen your reanimation because they're off the board.
Yes.
You don't get to do it when they're off in reserves. That being said, there is a 1 CP strat to give them all regeneration anyway, just in case, just for the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, here's my idea, right? All right,
okay,
here's my plan. Here's my plan. 10 brick of immortals.
Okay.
Tesla, if you want, Goss, don't care.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. You stick a Chronomancer on them, and you give them the Arisen Tyrant enhancement. Reroll a hit roll of 1. If they were set up on the battlefield this turn, reroll a hit roll instead.
Mm-hmm.
You 1 CP, drop them with Cosmic Precision 3 inches away from the enemy, like Shadow of Chaos thing.
Yes.
You put them in the back line, right on their home field objective. You then blow them to smithereens with full rerolls to hits. You know, whatever, because they're not holding their backfield objective with like a tank. They got like some crappy backwards dudes, right?
Yes.
And then you, after shooting it, you can't charge, but you can move 5 inches thanks to the Chronomancer. And then you just like cover the objective.
Yeah, I think you have to use that with like warriors, and I think that's.
I don't think you can fit all the warriors into 3 inches. That's why a 10 Lichgar is but 10 Immortals is my idea.
It's only 3 inches originally away from enemy models.
Yeah,
it's not like
20 models is a lot, man, for warriors.
But it's not like it has to be in a confined area.
Well, it has to be in coherency.
Well, yeah, you can make a coherency, yeah.
Yeah, but that's a 32 millimeter base. Like that's kind of thick.
Yeah.
But
well,
I'm just thinking like also Immortals re-roll wound rolls on objective, which is what you're firing at.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So you land them, re-roll all hits and wounds, and you fire like this little doodad thing. And then you immediately move 5 inches and just completely take over the objective they were just on.
Bro, okay. How about this? Oh wait, you can't do it. Damn it. No. Doomsday Arc. Just
drop a doom. Yeah, there's no enhancements for it,
but you can still use this.
You can still use the strat. Yeah, you
use the strat and just drop a Doomsday Dark on him. It said, dude, can you picture just being the dude that's on the objective? You're just like some sister of Silent, just like woo do on the objective. All of a sudden, there's a gigantic Doomsday Arc thing. Like,
okay. Slight downside to this, I forgot you put the Immortals in reserve, so it would still have to come out 6 inches from the board edge. So that might ruin the idea a little bit.
No. So it acts as using Deep Strike.
No, it says put them in strategic reserves.
Oh, yeah. So that's the downfall of this somewhat.
Or you also stick an Overlord in that unit, and you give him Osteoclave Fulcrum, which gives the unit Deep Strike.
There you go.
Bada bing, we've solved it.
Yeah, it's like you would have to do like an Overlord and
a Chrono.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty dumb. In fact, I'd honestly argue that a Plasmancer and just fishing for 5-ups lethal with the Gauss Blasters is better. But it's kind of funny.
That sounds so much fun.
So let's look at points real quick. Where are Immortals? So Immortals are 140 for a full squad.
Yes, 10.
And then you grab a Plas, which is 55, so 195. And let's say we have to put an Overlord in there. Let's take the Translocation because he's just better. So that would be 280.
Mm-hmm.
It's not particularly good.
You
but
want
it's kind of funny.
You want to know my my meme list with this is the Nightbringer, Void Dragon, Orokin, an Overlord, Plantsmancer, and a Royal Warden. 100 Necron Warriors and 3 Locust Heavy Destroyers.
It's pretty
Just
funny.
doop, 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 all over.
So okay. So there's a little bit of a question about cosmic precision, because it says the unit can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that's more than 3 inches away. I don't know if that means that if it's in reserves, it becomes a deep strikeable unit.
So, one Necron unit from your army that is arriving using the Deep Strike or Hyper Phasing ability this phase.
Right.
That's where I think it does.
So,
Because it does say strategic reserves, but because it's using that overrides the reserves part.
I think you're right. Cosmic Clayton with the $5 super chat, thank you, said Cosmic Precision overwrites normal strategic reserves, so pseudo Deep Strike.
Yeah.
I believe him.
That's definitely, though, like you go to a tournament before you do something, you definitely ask somebody there. I think that's kind of in that gray area where you're like, it seems right the way that we're talking about it, but you know how some of this stuff is. You're like, yeah.
So let's go ahead and take another concept, right?
Yes.
You have a Locust Lord. You give him the reroll hit rolls of 1 or full rerolls to hit.
Yes.
If you arrive in the turn, you slap him in a squad of one of 2 options: either 3 heavy destroyers or 6 locust destroyers.
Okay.
You put the 3 heavies, you drop them down. The Locust Lord gives you 5 up crits. You fire all 3 of their gigantic, like, fuck off guns at the opponent's vehicles and just get 3 like basically instant lethal hits by re-rolling your 5s. And next thing you know, you have 3 shots at AP4, 6 flat damage.
Okay, so that's for vehicles. I
Correct.
actually think the Locust Heavy Destroyers Emitic Exterminator is pretty insane right now. It's rapid fire 6, so you get 36 shots.
It is
Strengths with sustain hits, 1 full rerolls, and then they roll wound rolls of 1.
So yes, but like, are you hurting for anti-infantry shots as Necrons?
I mean, that's
Like, is that the roll?
So I think that's pretty consistent. I think that's really good. I think that's very quality shots. I think that's the difference. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, anything that's like a full rerolls. So, yeah, I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good one because it's 150 points, so it's 10 points more than Immortals. With for 1 AP, 1 damage, shots like that, smaller profile. How much is a Locust Lord?
Locust Lord is 80.
80?
Yeah.
Okay,
He also has one of the weirdest abilities, which is like full rolls to hit and wound on an enemy that's below half strength, but he has just like a Staff of Light, so who cares?
He also has a Res Orb.
You can give him a Res Orb or a 5-up in Feel No Pain, and you're obviously taking the Res Orb.
Yes.
Like, clearly.
I think so. I think that it might be a niche pick, but it's a very good quality pick. I think it's if the meta starts shifting to more like units, because you're shooting for warriors is 15 inches, right? So you're shooting for warriors of 15 inches, and if you deep strike it, you're still, unless you create a very large circle, it's still really tough to get all those shots at with the 20 brick. Immortals are 24 inches, and LHEs are 36, right? Yeah. So I think it's nothing to forget about. I think you have some options. I think that's pretty cool. You got some options.
So, okay, so here's a thought of mine.
Yes.
I actually think the regular Locust Destroyers are a bit underappreciated. They are 3 shots at 5/2/2. Reroll 1 hit rolls of 1 at the closest target, or full rerolls to hit against a target on an objective, like the Lich Guard or like the Immortals have. I keep getting those messed up.
Locust destroyers.
Yeah, Locust Destroyers.
It's a hit. Yeah, it's a hit roll.
Yeah, hit roll.
Yeah. Okay.
So I meant like the on the objective thing. The Locust Lord gives 5+ crit hits. So, and they have lethal hits.
Yes.
So the Locust Lords are individually at 30 points a model. Locust Lord is 80. So together, altogether 180 plus 80. So it's 260 for 6+ Locust Lord, which would be 18 shots at 5/2/2 with 5+ lethals and reroll hit rolls of 1. Now, the full rerolls to hit are also pretty good, but I'm kind of looking at like tanks. And I'm thinking about the Arisen Tyrant enhancement on the Locust Lord. Probably puts it to like 300 points or so. Or 260, like 280 maybe. So you now have a brick of six Locust Destroyers with a Resorb, mind you.
Okay.
That can jump in, that can bounce around the battlefield wherever they need to be. And then send out 18 shots at 5/2/2 and fish for lethals on 5+ with full rerolls to hit because you're dropping in.
Okay, here's my counter argument.
Yes, sir.
How about this? You do the same thing, but you put on LHDs with Anemic Exterminator for 36 shots that are wounding most likely on 3s, not 4s, on Terminators. It's -1 AP, which generally AP2 you're still going to 0 anyways.
Why
you're
0?
Rerolling wounds because it's cover. Like let's say they get cover or they have AOC. I'm thinking of like let's say you're killing like
AP1. I got AP2 and 2 damage. You have 1 damage,
but you have 18 shots, and I get to reroll at least once a wound.
Yeah, but
I get sustained hits.
So I'm referring to because you get sustained, you do not get lethal. Getting 18 shots at 5/2/2 with lethal 5+ and full rerolls to hit.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying is like, oh, look, it's your random tank that's like T12. I don't care. Here's 10 lethal hits at AP2, 2 damage.
True, yeah.
That's kind of my mindset.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Also, they're like not squishy. They're T6, 3+, 3 wounds.
I've heard an argument, I forgot where it's from, that running 18 of these with 3 Locust Lords is where it's at.
I can totally see that.
Because if it's like, remember aggressors?
Yeah.
Gravis stuff right now, T6 is really hard to chew through if you don't have the 6 strength on everything. So, plus they can res. Well, I mean, they're 3 wounds. Yeah, I think there's a world that's not the Annihilator place, but a different world where you run 18 of these, and it's really good.
I'm seeing this as the combination that you run in the Hypercrypt Legion, and you get at least 2 of these squads. Let's say you focus one on shooting on an objective, so they get full rerolls to hit, and the other one gets the enhancement, so they get full rerolls to hit as well. But there's no requirement for an objective. And then it's just really good generalist firepower. AP2, 2 damage is good against everything when you can lethal hits it up. Yeah. And then after that, you just like shove Catan in their face with the with all of the deep striking.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of laugh. And if you really have a hard time getting where you need to be with your Locust Destroyers, you can always 1 CP to 3 inches away. Yeah.
So, how about this?
Yes,
what about
sir.
Awakened Dynasty for them? Is that combo?
So
they have the Protocol of the Conquering Tyrant. You do get the full rerolls to hit.
Oh, do they get Concrete Tyrant?
It's until the end of the phase, each time you model in that unit, makes an attack that targets a unit within half range. Reroll hits rolls of 1. If a Necron character is leading that unit until the end of the phase, you can reroll the hit rolls of that, and they hit on 2s. And then you give them +1 more AP, and you can re-res the characters, the precision of them out, and then
but you don't. But that costs CP, and this is an enhancement. I think for me, the reason I like the Hypercrypt is because it's about getting all of those guns in like a good spot. It's about adjusting where they go.
Do that and bring a monolith, bro.
I was about to say, this thing, they really want you with the monolith in this one. There's like
I-
3 monolith-based strats.
It's like you almost like, dude, monolith's good though. Pretty good. 3-inch deep strike, monolith. You can move your infantry. They're considered mounted, right?
What are? The Locust
Yes.
Lords and
Yeah,
stuff?
they're considered mounted, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Move your infantry from the battlefield, set it up anywhere 6 inches from a monolith. Necron vehicles from your army is selected as target whenever attack until the end of phase. Models in that unit have a 4-up invuln. Don't all Necron monolith does? I think does monolith have 4-up?
No, I think monolith lost its 4-up.
It did. That's really weird.
Yeah,
Out
but
of all the tech that they have, I know it's. I'm thinking lore wise.
Yeah, it's got a 2-up armor. It's also T13, which is a pretty nasty breakpoint.
Wasn't it T14?
It was T14.
Yeah, so that's pretty nasty.
But like T13, like 99% of anti-tank weapons I see are strength 12. Like las cannons are strength 12, dark lances are strength 12, bright lances are strength 12. The only things that are higher than that are like super high ridiculousness, like Tau railguns or the Locust heavy destroyers, like one-shot gun. It's like strength 14 or something. Those are particularly nasty.
Hey, you know what?
What?
You want to know why this is pretty good? Because it's got support for what's the big canoptic? I mean the big
The Seraptic?
It's got support for the Seraptic, baby.
So right. Oh wait, that's a good point. 3 inches, 3-inch away Seraptic heavy constructs with the strats.
No, anemic the dampening one Titanic model that was selected. Until the end of the phase, weapons equipped by the models in the attacking have hazardous.
Yeah, but it's only the one guy attacking you. It's only the one unit that attacks you. It's not like every unit that attacks you.
Crisis.
They're already hazarding themselves. Give me something bigger. Give me like the 10-man Scarab Occult Terminator Squad or something like that.
Yeah.
Or something with multiple weapons. Yeah, I mean the strats for Hypercrypt I think are a little bit. Like it's basically you better have a monolith and you better have melee with that monolith. If you don't, 3 of these are just worthless. But to me, I feel like Hypercrypt is going to be, here's a Transcendent, Void Dragon, and Nightbringer. Watch as I bounce them around the battlefield all game and make your life awful.
I think Hypercrypt. So here's in my mind. Okay, let's put our competitive cap on.
Sure.
Is I think Hypercrypt has more potential for scoring, where Canoptic Court can be figured out super fast. Because you're just like, okay, I vect their dev wounds, I like tar up their wraiths because they're not that good in melee, and then they're kind of shut down. Like you can do things. It feels like it's super easy to. I kill their immortals. I try to push do their wraiths or whatever, so it's like the wraiths are kind of okay unless they control it. So I'm curious to see which one gets to go further, and I think it's gonna be fun to see. Watch it be like Annihilation one that ends up being the best.
Dude, like I think you're right. I remember when I said earlier that normally really good attachment rules are met with mediocre enhancements and strats. I think Hypercrypt is that situation done properly, where Canoptic Court they had also amazing strats and enhancements. But like, you know, the reroll hit roll thing is pretty good. Give them all as deep strike is pretty all right. But like one of these enhancements is just the Overlord like translocation 6 inches thing. And then 3 of these involve monoliths. So
I think if they didn't have the 3-inch deep strike, it would not be a good detachment. As good.
The 3-inch deep strike is huge.
Yeah, that's what makes these kind of things good.
I also think the reanimate while you're off the field is like pretty necessary.
It's actually pretty clutch, to be honest. Yeah.
Especially a Catan. I imagine all 3 Catans like just coming off the board and then regenning D3 with their 5-up feel no pain.
Okay, this might sound stupid, but are Catans Necrons considered Necron?
Yes, I believe they
Yes.
get
Okay.
this
So it's a
stuff.
faction thing. Faction thing. I didn't think. I was wondering if like, is it a keyword, not like a faction thing? Because I could totally see them not being considered like that kind of.
Right.
Because there was something in ninth kind of like that, right? Well, they can't be your warlord. That's what it is. That's kind of what I was.
They can't be your warlord, and then they made it so transcendent can't have enhancements. Also, Harry Dickinson, thanks for the $2 in pounds. The Dennett detachment. Dennett was the you remember Dennett from Twice Dead King? He was
Yes.
the summon the monoliths guy. I love that. That was really
Dude,
funny.
that's so awesome. God, dude, I want his model so bad.
Dennett?
So bad. No.
Ultix.
Yeah, Oltex.
Yeah,
Oltex.
the Deflayed King, whatever.
Yo, when's that book? What's the new book coming out? I need to know.
I don't think it is. I thought there was gonna be a third one, but I don't think there is.
Oh,
When we chatted with the author for one of the Adric episodes, it was like kind of a like, ooh, don't really know what to do from here kind of thing. Okay, so detachments, Hypercrypt and Canoptic are obvious winners.
Yes.
Awakened is still totally good. Annihilation and Obeisance are both shit. One's shit for logistical reasons, the other is shit for gameplay reasons.
Dude, such a bummer.
We
should do a dice check detachment for Necrons and run that. Be fun.
Dude, I would love to try triple Scorpec Lord, triple Scorpec Destroyer, Annihilation Legion, and just find out. Just like threat overload, just shove them in your face.
Dude, you should do that. You should totally do that.
I don't have
I
enough
just don't know
Scorpec
if the
Destroyers.
models. Yeah, I was like, I got like, I think 12? 6 or 12?
Okay, so I always have stupid ideas. It's still a side note. I was thinking of that idea, and I was thinking separately, knights. 3 like melee big knights and 3 melee small knights, and just like push, find out what happens. I know you got some knights over there. Oh, the Lance guy's cool, but I wasn't referring to him. I was referring to like the Gallant, I think is what it's called.
Yeah,
Just like push.
that guy gives some advance in charge though, so
It does. The
he's not that good though.
the Chaos version has a once per game advance in charge for the big stabby knight. So it's like, oh god.
Ooh.
Anyway,
Okay.
let's hop on over to data sheets, because some of these ones are interesting. Like for example, like Zarek is 420 now, Lamau. He is okay, so it's kind of funky. I think people are sleeping on one particular aspect of Zarek, which is the fact that you can stick his Minears behind cover really easily and get a 2-up in cover T10 model, which is like,
Okay. I actually, so I'm not gonna lie, like kind of have like Silent King feels really hard to fit in lists, so I haven't really paid much attention to him, and I did not realize he has a 2-up save.
he has a 2-up save. He had, and
That's
in a
pretty
sense, he
good.
has 26 total wounds.
Yes.
Obviously, 4-up invul, which is pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he reanimates. The king, the things they've changed from him, as far as I know, is that in his reroll charges aura, they also gave him +1 strength.
Yeah.
And then they also, in his reroll hit rolls and wound rolls aura, it's not just shooting, it's also shooting in melee.
Yeah. So it's more universal now.
Right. And instead of like turning off Battle Shock, he has an aura of +1 leadership.
I would rather have the turn off Battle Shock.
Yeah, it's a little tough. I mean, like, let's be honest. He certainly does hit. Like,
No, yeah, he's a version of his former self, but like he's still real. I think he's still like you have to build around him essentially, of course.
yeah,
It just feels like after playing with him in 9th edition so much as I did, it's just like, oh man, oh jeez.
yeah.
I missed the full what was it? Full rerolls to wound in melee. I was like, oh jeez.
Yeah, and
missed
full
that one.
rerolls to hit and shooting.
Yeah, but he's such a cool model. I love this model.
I like Zarek a lot. I like 2 shots at 14, 4, 6 is certainly nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
And it's like or certainly not nothing. And then like 2 more shots at 10, 3, 3 with dev wounds is whatever. 12 shots at 6, 1, 1 with indirect is kind of cheeky, kind of cute. 12 melee attacks at 8, 3, 2 is fine.
Dude, I miss his Oh, dude, I miss his like fuck off melee strike so much. That thing was so good.
It was
Back in
really
ninth,
good.
it was so good.
There's a lot of like parts of the king that I think people write off because they forget exist. Like, oh, his melee seems kind of mediocre. It's like, yeah, but he can shoot all of his guns in combat. None of them have blast. Like,
Yeah, I mean they're
and
hitting on
out
two,
of
so it goes to three,
combats.
so it's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, and out of combats. And then like he rerolls hit rolls and wound rolls of one for himself most of the time, which is also really good. He can also ignore characteristics if he needs to, which is cool. Like the ignore modifier buff is really good. But you do need to build around him, and it's tough to build around him because like Necrons are not particularly fast. And like,
yeah,
what would you put him in? You know,
I don't know.
detachment
Honestly,
wise.
detachment wise, I'd put him in the phalanx one. Come on, you know,
Yeah,
the one
yeah,
that's based around.
Yeah, it's the Triarch keyword, surely.
It would be either the Hyper Legion or Awakened. It would probably be Awakened. I think Awakened Dynasty is probably the better one for him. Yeah, I think Hyper's got some. You know, you could up you go, Mr. Silent King. Down you come, 3 inches on the home field. Oh my god, you should do that. Seemed really fun.
So
it's just he already has a 4-up invuln. I just think that you get so much more from. Actually, I don't know.
So ironically, someone in Twitch chat made a funny point. In the Obations Phalanx, the terrible one, there is a 1 CP strat for -1 damage for a vehicle.
Yeah, that's
which is great on him, but then the rest of your army just sucks. The entire rest of your army is bad.
I want to be a Custodes.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I feel like Hypercrypt is the best because you can just bounce him around the battlefield. That's just hilarious to me. But then even then it feels a little bit wacky.
I mean, you can give him Assault in Awakened Dynasty.
You can regen his Manir when it gets shot off the board with Awakened Dynasty as well.
Whenever you want. You can increase his AP by 1.
Yeah, Awaken might be the best one. Oh wait,
no. Never mind. It's like all about leading, so you can't do the +1 AP. To add 1 to the strength of melee weapons puts him to 9. God, dude, I miss his old school melee so much. Here's the thing, right?
Oh wait, you're right. It is all about leading units. You're right. Crap.
So it might be Hyper. I think, man, that's what sucks, right? Is you're like, I don't know what one to put him in, and I think that's like what the bummer is.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, he's got a big gun. He shoots pretty hard, but it's like he's in a weird point where he shoots pretty hard, but you're like, it kind of requires you to be up and close with everything, and he doesn't do a lot like super close anymore. Like, don't get me wrong, like 832 is really good, but it's not like, hey, watch out for your vehicles or your dreadnoughts. Like,
he's not Titanic either.
Yeah, so it's like you don't know what to put him in, and then you're like, it's rerolls 1s, which is, it's not nothing to joke about, but it's not like you're like, okay, so hits of 1s, wounds of 1s. You sit in the back line, you give it to your shooting things. It's like
your arc or something.
10 attacks. It's only like 5 attacks, if that, or maybe just 2 attacks only. The other one is what? Reroll the charge rules in melee and add 1 strength to the characteristic, which is not horrible, but then you have to put them up the field in danger, and then ignore the tests made by models. I feel like,
yeah, it's like
for 420 points, I feel like it's a lot to ask, because I would just be like, bro, I'd rather take a Transcendent Catan.
so someone made a funny idea. And it was like Pokemon trainer Zarek, which is the king and 3 Catan, because he also gives them reroll 1s to hit and wound in melee and shooting. So it's just like shove.
Yes,
and you know,
I like that. Yeah,
like it's kind of funny, but that's also 1,500 points. You know, like
it's like
it's your army basically.
Yeah. that's your army. That's it. That's all you get.
So I don't know. It's kind of all right. Moving on. Imitek got a wound. He's 6 wounds now.
Big boy here. Ooh, everybody watch out.
I know, but like the fact that he's just free CP already makes him good, because
What's his point?
CP.
He's actually kind of. I feel like he's kind of expensive.
Let's see. Imitek is a hundo.
He's only 100. Okay,
He's 100.
horrible.
He's in Immortals, Lichguard Warriors. He gives you a CP. He's got a flamer and like a better Staff of Light. And then once per battle at the end of the command phase, you can zap everyone with it. Like, it's not nothing. It's every single unit within 12 inches. On a 2 through 5, it's D3 mortals, and on a 6, it's D3 plus 3. 12 inches is a sizable aura. It's 24 inches of a board space, but it's
Bro, I think
know.
that should be every turn. I think you should be able to use that every turn.
that's a lot. That
I think
if that was the case, less, like not 12 inches, maybe like
it's like 6
6 or
inches, I think.
3.
Yeah, I think. So, I mean, it's. Do you want to? Okay, in my mind here is, do you want to give up a res orb and spend 100 point, if extra 15 points for just an extra CP?
Yes.
Which a lot of times, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
100% yes. CP is so valuable. I would totally do it, because for every one of those I get, that's the 3-inch deep strike in Hypercrypt. That's the like.
That's if you run Hypercrypt, but then you're like, oh, maybe I run something else.
Right. Well, it's like that's another regeneration in Awakened Dynasty. That's that's another ability to use Dev Wounds if you need to do it in addition to another 0 CP battle tactic for Canoptic.
Yeah.
Like the CP is so important. What else do we got? So there's Xerath next, who is
So Xerath is a beast if you run Immortal, and that's where you take him. I think if you run at least 20 Immortals, you bring Xerath. I don't see any world you don't do it.
because of the +1 AP.
Plus 1 AP, -1 AP. He gets loan op.
Not that he needs it. He's so tanky.
He's so good.
He's a 2-up,
And-
4-up, 9 wounds with a 4-up, feel no pain. My God.
Yeah, and it's kind of, yeah, I kind of wish Immortals had like two wounds instead of 1, but that's
Yeah.
probably asking too much.
Not particularly immortal, are they?
Yeah, I mean, which is okay. They're still pretty good. He has a 4-up, feel no pain, 9 wounds. I honestly really do think that you bring him if you bring at least 20 Immortals. He goes in the Immortal build. Because they're able to shoot pretty far. They get the 2 CP if you bring the Gauss blasters, right? And then you can give him +1 AP on the Teslas. So
Yeah,
he's
Teslas are good, but my issue is like
he has a
AP
2-up save.
Yeah, he does, dude. I told you.
I just saw that.
He's really
Oh my
tanky.
God.
It's 2-up, 4-up, 9 wounds, T8, 4-up, feel no pain. He also moves 8, which is like not nothing. It sucks that it sucks that his aura is only 3 inches, and you have to kill things in the fight phase to make it larger. But
I mean, you're not. I don't think you. Yeah.
So, in fairness, in order to increase it, he has to kill 1 or more modules, not units, in the fight phase.
Yeah. So it's
4 attacks at 933 and 4 more at 611 is like, he'll kill something.
Dude, I've always wondered too, is what you do with him is you put him out front and get him super hard, and then go into something that is like something that's pretty close. Like you go to something that moved up pretty fast and have him go into it, and if he gets stuck in it, he doesn't get shot at anyways. So it's like worth it, and then you can move up too, and then you get those kills, and then you get the aura, and then it bounces back to the other people.
That's true. He also gets full rerolls because he's a cryptech. So in Canoptic, he gets full rerolls, which is pretty great.
Yeah,
so
that's so good.
I mean, 3 full rerolls on a 933 gun is, that hurts. That hits.
Yes, he's super cheap now.
160. Yeah.
He went down 20 points.
25 actually. He was 185. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. I think he's good. Yeah.
So are we just gonna skip Trazen because he's like the worst thing ever made?
So, guys, chat, Trajan's in the book. and then we go to Orkin as a diviner. Now let me talk about this guy.
We're talking about Orkin. Traysen's like
Uh,
cheap as shit too. He's like 70 or something, but he's just so
yeah,
bad.
well, so here's the thing, right? Okay. He gives sticky, right?
Right, which
Necrons
whatever.
don't really need it, but
Nope.
in a hyperspace world where you're teleporting all over the field, you can just sticky stuff is kind of cool.
That's kind of funny.
It's very, 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 very niche, but he does do that. I think that's one thing to keep in mind with Trajan, and I think that's what's good with him. And he also has his teleport ability to like go somewhere else and sticky that as well, and that's what he's got.
But he kills your models. He kills your characters.
Yeah.
Like, he murders them. Oh, I'm sorry. He's 75 points. He's even worse than I thought.
I mean, sticky, I think it's like very, very niche if that's your battle plan to like do stuff with that, then yeah. So,
hey. Let's talk about Orkin.
Orkin, my boy here. I ran him Saturday, and he was pretty good. Orkin was pretty good. Yeah.
4-up invul was really good.
Yeah. Very, very good.
Would you put him in Warriors or Immortals?
I put him in Warriors.
Okay, I think he does better with Warriors.
I think so too, because it's 20 wounds, 4-up, and then, dude, oh my god, get this. I sent him, sorry, spoilers, cover your ears if you don't want spoilers. I sent him into a 5 brick of Terminator Custodies. Hop the 1. Fuck.
Oh.
Bro, he fucks.
The stars are right ability?
Oh, yeah.
Well, so you got, I'm assuming, because at that point you get about four attacks that are going to be dev wound, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe 3, because you're hitting on 3s, so it's like...
not if you're in full rerolls to wound, baby. I mean, free rolls to hit.
No, that's true. Because you were running Crypt, you're right.
Yup.
So it's basically 4 D3 dev wounds.
Yes.
Which is pretty good. You know, you'll kill, like, some chunky stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not like...
I think it's pretty good. I think it's
fun.
Pretty good. It's good where you need it.
It's fun. It's good where you need it, but like you're taking him for the 4-up invul. He's also only 80 points, which is great.
Yeah, he's super cheap. He makes something pretty tanky.
Translocation Shroud is incredibly good.
He's
Overlord.
The best Overlord. Yeah, you take 3 of them if you're taking Overlords, in my opinion. Auto advance 6 with
going through stuff.
The Res Orb.
Yep.
And he makes something free. And then if you're in the Chronoptic Court, everything's free.
Yep, and you gets the Res Orb, and not only that, but you also it's move through stuff even with regular normal moves and shit, so you can fall back in a trapped position and not have to take a desperate breakout attempt.
I also think his melee is nothing to. I mean, it's not fantastic, but it's 4 very quality attacks with 2, 8, -3, 2 damage with dev wounds. So I think it's very solid attacks.
Yeah, it's fun enough.
He has a 2-up save as well. I
Yeah.
just noticed that.
I think both Overlords have a 2-up save, yeah.
Yeah, they do. Why did I think they had 3s? Anyways, so they are good. They're better than the Overlord, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
think they're...
-1 damage is just not good enough comparatively.
Yeah, he's not a melee beat house where it matters.
And they're also not like they're the same points cost. I mean,
Exactly.
you know, the Overlord has a Tachyon arrow. It's kind of cute. You might like,
but you can't take a Res Orb with it.
Oh my God, you're right.
So,
never mind. The translocation is like a flat out superior Overlord.
Better. Yep.
That's not even a question.
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up 5 or 10 points.
Yeah, there needs to be a difference between the two of them.
Or I think the Overlord should go down. I think the Overlord should be the new Lord, in my opinion. It should go down like 5 or 10 points.
Sure. Okay, CCB.
CCB.
I think it's kind of bad.
Yep. I think it has its niche things. I think it's a little too expensive for what it is. I think, what is it, 140 or 130?
150.
Nope.
I think maybe in Awakened, because you give him the 4 Feel No Pain.
Yep.
That might work. You know, Aura of OC +1 is great. having -1 to wounds is not bad either, but
You know what we need to start doing is when they're bad, we just need to tell them, hey, send it to the Annihilation Legion. Or
says
send it to the Phalanx. Just send it to the Phalanx.
I do like it having an aura option of a Resorb, like a pick a unit within 6. It gives it a lot more tactical flexibility.
Yes, I think yes.
That's kind of nice, especially because you can only use 1 Resorb a turn.
Yeah, once per battle, yeah.
Yeah, well, once per turn too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you cannot resurrect more than 1 unit per turn. Like not just the same unit. So that means like if you have like 5 Resorbs, then you're like it better live till battle round 5.
Yeah.
Or oh, it's per turn. Never mind. You can do it either turn. It's not battle round. But like Gauss Cannon is fine. Like Staff of Light, it's a couple extra shots. It's really nothing special. The CCB could go down like 10 to 15.
Dude, it can go down like 120, and I still think you're questioning if this choice if you take it. 120 I think is when you in the range. I think you take it.
120 is not bad. At that point, you can
think that's
chunk
a
it
solid
up.
because I think it's so. Here's the thing, right? So here is my argument, right? So an Overlord's T5, you raise it 50 points, it gets T8, it goes up 3 toughness, it loses a save, and goes up 3 wounds, and that's it for 120 points. That's
it has the -1 to wound thing still too.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know. It's like I can maybe see it as like an OC clogger because it gives everything around it +1 OC.
Yeah, I think that's
bring it with some warriors and just be like,
dude, just bring it with like
100 warriors,
18 scarabs.
you need a canoptic boy with him though, a cryptic with him.
Yeah, or something. But they still gives them. Okay, make all your scarabs 2 OC if you do that.
Yeah. Scorpec Lord is fine. It probably could go down. It's 100 points. It going down to 80 like the Overlords feels like it'd become too cheap. But
so here's yeah.
Like he's kind of a brick. Like T7, 4-up invul, 7 wounds is like it's kind of a brick. He's thick.
He's a thick boy.
It's a thick boy.
Kind of
That's kind of it. Yep.
Here's like I don't know what their design philosophy was him, like in gameplay wise, because like what we were talking about earlier, right? You want to put him on a model that wants to do dev wounds, right? So if you take a 6 brick, you get 2 of the plasma scythe things in it, so you get 2 turns of dev wounds, right?
Right.
Let's give those bad boys lethal hits.
Let's give them lethal hits, yeah.
That's
the big problem.
That's, in my opinion, it should be sustain hits like 1, maybe 2 for its price point. Like, no joke. I think you change lethal hits to sustain hits, and then he works better. And then for a thick boy, though, 4 attacks.
4 attacks.
It's only 3 damage. It's only strength 10.
I would do one or the other. I'd be like, okay, at the start of the fight phase, I can pick between lethal and sustain, kind of like chaos. Honestly, yes, like the Flensing Claw, just give it extra attacks. Because 8 attacks at 611 is really not that big of a deal. Or if anything, just give him a 2-up save for God's sakes. Why does he have a 3-up?
How many points is he again?
100 flat.
He's 100 flat. I say you make him 110. You double his attacks and you change his things to sustain hits, and then he's money. Dude, he's so good.
Like the little charge mortals is cute, but
dude, you could take that out, man, and then make him 100 points, sustain hits, and double his attacks. Then everyone will run him.
Yeah, the Scorpec Lord, like you know what he makes me think of. Like I look at him at 100 points, and I almost think of like Yuri and Rakarth, where I imagine just him by himself, just somewhere on the battlefield, like doing like in the back line of your opponent. Like you bring him in the back line of your opponent, and you just kind of slowly move him into the opponent's base, and like he's tanky enough to where you're going to need probably more than 100 points to take him down. And he can just kind of like roll up and do mortals, and like I see him, like he himself in his stat line of toughness and wounds and invul is like not bad. He's also got a thick base.
I
But him like as a support character in stuff is just not worth it.
I don't think. Yeah. I think he is in the Phalanx, not Annihilator, because it feels like his thing is kind of clunky, and
It
that's
is.
it. I think he, like you said, I don't think he's like horrible. Maybe at 90 points, he might be worth it.
If
It's
we
just
went down to like 80, I could totally see, or like 85, I could totally see some asshole bringing 3 of solo ones and just like shoving it in the backfield and
yeah.
being like, ha ha ha
Dude,
ha.
and his gun though is like, I'm surprised it's only 2 attacks.
It's like rapid
It's
fire
like
2, so it's like
but it's only range 18, so it's like, oh, I
9
gotta be within 9
inches.
inches.
And if you deep strike him, you can't be within 9 for the extra 4 shots.
Yeah.
It also doesn't have pistol, which would be nice because he's going to be in a melee unit, you know? I don't know. It's the question is really like, is 6 Scorpex and him for 300 points a good call? And the answer is no.
I don't think right now, no, because for 300 points you can get a Satan, which does way more quality.
For 280,
Yeah,
you get a Technomancer.
For 50 less points, yeah.
Get a Technomancer and 6 rates for 280.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. I mean, you're not gonna do damage, but you'll survive everything under the sun.
Locust Lord. I think
Speaking
Locust
of-
Lord is great.
I think he's in like the Awakened Dynasty, possibly like Hyper Legion area. He's pretty money, man. He's pretty money.
Yeah, I think Hyper.
Yeah, you think it's so? I think he's I still think who's got Locust Destroyers though? I don't even think I have any. Do you have any?
I did. I had like the big tubes that would like be, you know, like the big glowy tubes. That I did. I don't know what they are now.
You remember when they were talking about we're losing models for the book?
Yeah, we certainly did.
My theory was the Locust Lord and the Locust Destroyers were going away. Because
and instead we lost we lost our bros.
We lost our beloved dude. They're sitting on my shelf right behind me right now. And it's like you look around and you get reminded of them every day. Yeah, dude, he's a Plasmancer that moves 8 with 6 wounds. He is money.
Not just that. He has a Resorb.
Oh yeah, and then each time this model makes an attack at the target's below half strength, which is like very niche, but you reroll the hits and you reroll the wounds.
Just ignore that because it's only for the model. It's not the unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has like a Staff of Light or a Lord's Blade. Who cares? But he has a Resorb. He has a Resorb.
Yep, that's the big thing to look at.
A Resorb on a squad of Locust Heavies or Locusts are pretty good. They're pretty good.
Plus the models it goes with are cheap and they are worth running.
It is like 260 for 6 Locusts and a Lord. 260.
So here's the thing: is with the Locust Lord, if we look at like how people will build lists for these things, it's like you have to carve something out to put these in my opinion, or put him in. Like you have to carve out and you want to put him in, and I think that's his only downfall. It's because a lot of times if you're running Canoptic, you're running Cryptex. I don't think you're gonna find points unless you deliberately do it. And then I think Awakened Dynasty, he's probably one of the better selections for him, or maybe the Hyper Jank.
I think Hyper only because we're not looking for +1 to hit with Awakened. We're looking for rerolls to hit, which I mean we do have with the protocol, but I'd rather just take the enhancement in Hyper.
Yeah.
I mean you do put them on Locust Heavies as well. Like what are Locust Heavies?
Yeah.
They're like 70 each.
50.
Wait, 50?
Yeah, they've always been 50. They haven't changed. They're really good. That's what I'm telling you. 50 points for they're 150 points for 36 attacks, 6 strength. It's money, dude. It's so good.
All right, it's kind of money. But my issue is that it's not good against. It's not like very generalist. It's very anti-infantry.
And that's what you would have to. That's why you would break up. It's they got anti-take weapons, but it's you bring 100, you bring 3 of them, and it's like very swingy.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the idea of bringing 3 of them with a full rerolls or something. So yeah. if you're taking Locust Lords in Awakened, then I think you run the triple giant gun on the Locust heavies.
Yeah,
I
think
think
it's.
you run that.
I think the cool thing about them is like, what does your list need, and you could flex into it super easy.
Yeah,
I think that's the cool thing. With
I think lords are money, and having the res orb is just like really annoying because then someone will be like, oh, I killed off 2 of your Locust lords, and you're like, well, here's 4 wounds back, so I got 1 and 1 extra wound. It's like, okay, wow, that's kind of infuriating.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I think Royal Wardens are kind of bad.
Royal Warden is insane. It's one of the best characters in the book.
Why?
Fallback, shoot, and charge. Are you kidding me? Is insane.
But like
on everything that you want, so you can run him with. I think it's really good.
Just Immortals and Warriors.
Yeah, and those are what you want to fall back and shoot.
How many points is he?
Like 50. 40. No, he's like 45, 50. He's super cheap.
Okay, him being 40 is actually
he's
way
insane.
less than I thought it would be. I don't know if I'd call him insane. You know
really
what bugs me? Once per battle at the start of any phase, you can select a unit and it's no longer battle shocked. That's the start. So you can't do it after something has been battle shocked. Like new command phase, something gets battle shocked and then you turn it off. You can't do that. You have to do it before. Like you can't stop a battle shock from happening or anything like that. That's what annoys me.
So yeah, it happens and then you're able to turn it off the next phase, essentially.
Right, but if it happens, like,
well, it's still good.
You can't
because...
use it to flip an objective. Like if you're gonna lose the objective from battle shock, well, no, because then you score.
No, so when you take battle shock, right?
Right.
So if like let's say I think it's really good for like the meta that's coming out with like PBCs, whirlwinds. You get shocked, you're on objective by yourself. You're not about to score it. Before it goes to your turn, you're just like, okay, cool.
But you get unshocked. You get unshocked anyway because then it's your command phase.
I think it's good for like out of
sequence.
So it's like you're not half wounds. You just rolled horribly because someone's got a battle shock thing, like knights or something like that. No, not knights, because knights you'll battle shock anyways. But like whirlwinds or anything like that could stop it, I guess, right?
Sure.
So, I wish they just said battle shock was just a phase, so it'd be super easy to figure out.
It would have been easier. So here's my issue with the Royal Warden. Falling back and shooting and charging is cool. But I feel like an intelligent player will throw something into the Immortals and Warriors that will just wipe the squad. So to roll it back is already a bit of an issue. And secondly, if you're putting you're putting a Royal Warden in a squad of Immortals or Warriors, right? When are you ever doing that instead of putting a different Overlord in it instead? Like, I'm trying to think like, okay, maybe you put him in your squad of Immortals because you can take it with a crypt deck because it's Royal Warden or Noble. Sure, but
can't you take? Is it only Overlords you can run him with?
No, you can run. So it's the Royal Warden or a Noble can be mixed with crypt decks. So you can do a Royal Warden like a Techno or something.
Yeah, and I still think he's so insane for 40 points. You can also just throw enhancement on him, and the important things like in the crypt tech area, like let's say your things don't die, you want to bring them back, and then you fall back and shoot. It could be game winning.
I don't know.
I think he's Awakened Dynasty. I think he's pretty good.
Awakened maybe.
I don't think he's bad whatsoever.
So I don't think he's bad anymore because he's 40 points.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's good. I think he's like meh.
So was it Darkja? I'm sorry if I butchered your name. NANJKJN was saying he ran him with the Warriors and Immortals with the Chronomancer. I fell back, shoot, and then move again.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of fun. Like the undoing battle shock part, I don't mind. That's for like secondaries, that kind of thing. Like that's cool. That's chill. I like that. But I don't know, because what's a Chronomancer? 50 points, so it's 90 points for those two characters. And then what do you put it on? Immortals, or do you put on a warrior brick?
flex, either or.
Okay. So okay, let's move past that because actually, come to think of it, with the cryptex, that makes a good point. So like, we got a technomancer, right? Who is just total
phenomenal,
banging, still amazing,
got the raves,
still really good, still good, like still awesome. Heals Necron models.
The one bummer in this book, if anybody hasn't learned, is that cryptex cannot go in Lich Guard anymore, which is kind of a bummer. I think that some cryptex should be able to go in them. I understand, like, you don't want the Technomancer 5 of Feel No Pain with the whatever the crypto. That's fine. You can get rid of that whole thing, but having like a cryptech or like somebody outside an Overlord might be kind of nice to have in them. Even like a Royal Warden be nice to have in them too. Something cool like that would be fun. Dude, yeah, put a Royal Warden in Lich Guard would be so cool.
That would be pretty cool.
That's just like a little bummer, but I understand where they're coming from with the Technomancer. Thanks, bud. You ruined it for everyone, kind of thing.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, you're still giving a 5-up Feel No Pain to Wraiths, Immortals, or Warriors.
Yeah, you're giving it to arguably something just as good.
Yeah.
Well, not just as good, but just as pretty close to it.
You're giving it to Wraiths for the most part, at least recently.
And it's bonkers.
So okay, Plasmancer. No, sorry, Psychomancer. So if I'm reading this correctly, the Nightmare Shroud is in the Battleshock step of your opponent's command phase. If an enemy unit is below starting strength within 6 inches, that unit must take a Battleshock test, subtracting 1 from the test. So it sounds like he needs to take 2 tests.
Yes.
Are we positive? Because it looks like it's saying it's one of 2 things. It's either saying 2 tests, or it's saying, oh, if you're below starting, not below half, you have to take it at -1.
So okay, so you talk about for both of the abilities or just the one?
Just the Nightmare Shroud. Because the Harbinger of Despair is a specific point at you, you have to do a Battleshock test. I think Nightmare Shroud it reads like you have to do 2 Battleshock tests on them, but I think it's instead it's a, hey, when you have to do your Battleshock tests, it's if you're under starting instead of under half.
It's the Knights. It's the Knights detachment ability. That's all it is.
Okay, so it just makes the single test they have to take harder.
Yes.
And more constant.
The reason why it says that you must take a Battleshock test, because it's if you have 1 less model out of 10, if you're at 9, you have to take the test.
As opposed to being like a 4.
Yes.
So like Battleshock is cute. And when it comes, it's one of those things where it barely comes up, but when it does come up, it's like really hard it's actually good.
So I have to say, in our game that I played, this is the guy that one of the big ones I fucked up on. I just got the Codex and I was like, I want to take a Psychomancer. It sounds cool as fuck now. I fucked up on the at the start of your I misread it, and I did it I thought it was whenever you at once per turn. And I was like, that would be insane, dude. That guy would be so good if you could do it whenever. Like within 18 inches, if somebody comes in an aura and you're just like, you have to take a Battleshock test, would make him actually good. Like, he's good, but that would make him actually like something to fear, because it's like somebody's trying to charge in you, take a Battleshock test within 18.
So I can see this actually, because it is subtract 1 from the test, which is good.
Yes.
In both senses. But like, I can totally see him as being not bad in a squad of warriors or whatever, and being like, hey, I need to take this objective for a secondary. You have the objective with some guys right now. I'm gonna go boop. You have to now take a shock test, and maybe I get. But then you're like kind of swinging like 5 whole points on a 50-50 dice roll, and that's not great. I don't love that.
I mean, you're pushing majority of everything to 7, which is like what, 44%.
7 is like it's half basically.
It's 55 points for somebody to say do this is not bad. I think if you made him like 65 points and say at any once per round you can do it, I think would make him way better.
I just say once per turn at the start of any phase, so you can do it in yours and your opponent's. That would make him decent.
that would make him actually something to be really good, and you would see probably 3 of them.
Yeah, he's definitely better, but he needs to be in things that matter more as well. Like this, he needs to be close.
I think if you had that ability, you would run him by himself and just shove him to a corner of a building terrain to cover 18 inches.
Yeah. The interesting or the difficult part when it comes to Battle Shock is it can make massive swings in points, but it can make massive swings in points. It could make massive swings in points, and then your opponent just rolls well. And it's like, well, fuck.
Yeah, so I think he's like all right. It's just like I said, it's the on your turn thing is like the biggest downfall for him.
Okay, so the Chronomancer is money.
I think he's really good.
I think he's the best Cryptek. The Plasmancer is also amazing, but I think the Chrono's the best one.
I think the Plasmancer is going to have more use than the Chronomancer right now because you're going to use him more in your detachment than you'll use the Chronomancer. I think you'll have at least one Chronomancer, but I could see 2 Plasmancers.
I mean, well, if you're running the court thing, yeah.
Yeah, even like on a Brick of Warriors or Immortals, because it's 5 up lethal hits, right?
Yeah, it'd be a lot 5 lethal hits.
And then even 5 up lethal hits, and then if you drop something in front of a vehicle, it's full rerolls to hit with him, and then your lethal hits on 5s. Still pretty good.
Plasmaster also gives you like a mini grenades, just like point at a guy.
Yeah, speaking of not having any grenades, do you even see that keyword here? Just kidding.
That's a good point. You know, in a hilarious way, I could totally see running triple Plasmancer and just like pointing at a unit and being like, here's 12d6 every, on average 6 mortal wounds. Like, that's not bad. But I feel like the Chronomancer, so the Chronomancer gives -1 to hit for the whole unit, and it's -1 to hit in shooting and melee, which is great. Like just genuinely great. But like I could totally see 30 Immortals, 3 Chrono, shoot and scoot, forward, backward, and just being an absolute nuisance.
100%. I think, yeah.
And he's only 50. For 50 points, that's like
he's super good.
Incredible. Yeah, I think he's fantastic. I think he's genuinely fantastic.
So here's what I think you're right. I think the Plasmancer and Chronomancer are pretty tied in the same position. It's just, do you want more maneuverability or do you want more damage?
More damage, yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people say like the Necron shooting is it's like okay. I think that's where they kind of want help is in the shooting area to give their shooting like some meaning. And that's where the Plasmancer, you'll probably see more Plasmancers than Chronomancers.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Necron players are also very whiny. They very much have this idea of like,
what are you talking about?
My God, why is my Gauss Flayer atomizes people? Why is it AP 0? And it's like because it's a board game, and board games need to be balanced.
Yeah, no, totally.
But yeah, the shooting does leave a lot to be desired. I think they did. The shooting definitely feels better in this book than it did in the index.
Because
I'd say so. Like, I mean, you know, the Canoptic Court giving you full rerolls for like your Doomstalkers is really good.
Yeah, I think the full rerolls is what's really what you need.
The Dev Wounds thing is really good. I think shooting is better. It might not be as well as we'd like it to be, but
oh boy,
Catons, buddy.
Page 100. Ooh.
So. Okay, so the Deceiver is the weakest. We can all agree.
Yeah,
he doesn't suck.
It's the bad redeploy too.
It's the bad redeploy. It doesn't suck. His melee is like shockingly okay. 8 attacks at 833. 8's not bad. And then 6 attacks with some wacky Dev Wound precision stuff, which is kind of funny.
He does have stealth though.
He does have stealth. That's why I think he just doesn't suck. Like he's.
I don't think
fine.
any Satan sucks. I think you kind of have like a mediocre to excellent.
Yeah.
So nothing is like bad. Some things are like they're all right. This is like it's so funny. It reminds me so much of like Greater Demons, is what we're looking at right here. It's just their profiles remind me so much of Greater Demons, like T11, like it's pretty much like 24 wounds kind of thing.
I gotta say. Oh, what the hell? The Deceiver is 6 OC. The rest of them are 4.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. All right. I will say the combining half damage with a 5-up feel no pain is so infuriating to deal with. That is such a insanely powerful defensive ability.
It's especially for like things that are hitting you on 2 damage goes to 1, and then you're like,
oh, I save it on 5.
Right, save on 5s. Okay, I took 1 damage, and then you're like, oh, cool, I can heal.
Oh, by the way, I have now put them in strategic reserves, and I'm now going to bring them back on the field, and I'm going to use a CP to give them regen. Because every reanimated wound they get is like that much of a pain to get.
I feel like it's equivalent to 3 wounds. Each wound that they get back, it's 2 to 3 wounds is what it feels
genuinely. So Nightbringer still has Gaze of Death. Okay, thank God. Guess what they got rid of?
What, blast on it?
It blasts. Yep,
dude.
Why did it have blast? What else did it?
It's stupid. Guess what else I got?
Oh,
look under the damage. 2
for his melee.
Yep, dev wounds.
Thank God. The Nightbringer is the cheapest Catan.
It's in my opinion, it's the best.
I think the Transcendent might be best. No, sorry. I think the Void Dragon might be best because we're in a vehicle. We're in a vehicle meta.
Nightbringer's better in vehicles. I will tell you that every single day until I die.
I don't think so.
I 100% think so.
I don't think.
Look at the
anti-vehicle 2-up.
It's 2-up. Your strength 12, so maybe 3s, but you can get more attacks.
You can. So for me, it's the regenning wounds.
That's fair,
from vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
It's the regenning wounds from vehicles. Also, the Void Dragon has like just more volume. He has 6 extra melee attacks and also a second gun, a blast D6 plus 3 shots with sustained hits 2 at 712.
But I do have 6 attacks for you at strength 2. Weapon skill 2, strength 14, -4 AP, not 3, with dev wounds D6 plus 2 though.
It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good. I think I like the Void Dragon more because I think he's just a bit more generalist. I think you totally roll like 2 1s during the Nightbringer and to hit, and you're like, oh, okay.
So I think we'll have to agree to disagree on this. I think Nightbringer is way better than the Void Dragon, but I understand your argument on the healing aspect because tanky boys are best boys.
I mean, I can't imagine the pain that you would go through to have the Void Dragon arrive. He like blasts something with Voltaic Storm. He throws a spear at a vehicle, does D6 plus 2 damage, and then like you somehow break through his half damage and 5-up feel no pain, and then he just reanimates and then just sucks up D3 mortal wounds from your vehicle and heals himself again. And it's just like, oh my God.
Dude, my favorite part is when you drop and then you roll a 1 on his attack and you're like, okay. All right,
also
next.
True. So I think you're right. I think Nightbringer is better because he's also 15 points cheaper. But I like the Void Dragon from like a generalist point of view. I think he has more like attacks for different kinds of issues.
Okay, I can see your argument on that.
Because he has the 6 extra attacks from his tail, and then he also has 2 guns.
Yeah.
Real quick. Christopher Clayton gave a $5 super chat. Question apropos of the Nightbringer: does Cosmic Precision work with Rapid Ingress? Oh, never mind. Got my answer. It does not. Never mind. He figured it out. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Go ahead. Say your saying.
I do have a better sweep though. Like my melee. Oh man.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, I make up for with the 6 extra attacks, but your sweep is better. You're flat out like just melee is the best by far.
And that's what you're gonna want to get into anyways with the Void Dragon, which I can do that for 15 points cheaper. Yeah. And I argue a little bit better.
I think he is better overall. I think I like the generalist role of the Void Dragon.
That's fair. Okay.
I also just like
if I wanted generalist, I would go Transcendent. Now,
that was the other thought. Yeah.
That's where I think the Void Dragon is the 3rd best, is because the Transcendent as a generalist is pretty money, dude. It's like it's not gonna kill big things, which is okay, but 6 attacks, strength 8, -2, D3 damage with assault and sustain hits 1, and then you have your melee, which is 8 attacks, 9 strength, -3, D6 with sustain hits. That's nothing. That's not nothing. I think it's pretty good. And then you could just teleport everywhere.
My issue is that if you teleport everywhere, you can't charge.
He also has deep strike.
I mean, deep strike is nice, but like you can't charge him if you teleport him everywhere because you're advancing, and you can't advance to charge.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one thing it says. You can shoot. You can shoot, but like, are you really paying that many points for 6 attacks at 8-2 D3? I don't know. Like, I feel like you know what you do with the Transcendent Catan? You advance him, and then you deep strike him in the back line of your opponent, and then you just like slowly just wreak havoc on his home field.
Yeah.
He's so slow though. He's still like 6 inches.
They're all 6 inches, so it sucks.
That does suck. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little wacky.
He is the most expensive just because of his utility he has to jump around.
Yeah. I do like how small his base is though. He's so tiny.
He's such a tiny boy.
Yeah, he's a very
Love
tiny
it.
boy.
Dude, we should do a 9 Satan list or 6 Satan list. It'd be fun.
Can you take yeah, I was say yeah,
You have to take 3
list,
Transcendent. Yeah.
No, bring in the vaults.
I love it.
All right, so we have Warriors and Immortals. We've talked a lot about them already.
Yes.
Warriors got worse, yeah. but they're cheaper. So
and it's like it's still kind of in the realm of what you need to do now.
Yeah.
My only thing with them is with the change of res orbs, I'm surprised that they changed the D3. I still think you could have kept the D3+3 on the objectives, and they would have been okay. It was definitely the one whatchamacallit stratagem in the Awakened Dynasty that kind of ruined it for the rest stuff. But outside of that, I think there's places for him. Run him with Orkin, run him with like some stuff like that. Still has their
I think they should have just done it like each time a unit reanimates, you can re-roll the dice. Also, you reanimate +1. I think that would have been fine in between.
Yeah, that could have been that could have been something cool.
I do like that you can re-roll the res orb for them. That is nice. It helps.
Yeah.
Especially if because I mean you're taking him with like a translocation shroud guy, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's good for the D6. It would be better if you could use it more than once. But if you bring a CCV, you can use it more than once. Let's go.
That's true.
Okay. Immortals.
Immortals are great.
They're fantastic. They're probably the best infantry unit.
Yeah, I think I would agree. It's not because they themselves are a stat line that's amazing. It's that they just synergize with a ton of strats and a ton of options.
Yeah.
And their reroll wounds ability is just great.
Someone made a good point. Is the res orb should have been D3+3.
Yeah,
would have been better.
I wouldn't mind that.
I think that would be good.
Yeah, that would have been fine. I think maybe it would have been a little too strong for things like the Locust Lord, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, free two like automatically 2 free locusts. It's like, that's fine. Our Gloctopus got nerfed.
Yeah, he doesn't shoot all the time, so he's kind of. I mean, he's one of the few only lone offs we got. He's like the only one except for Xera's, right?
Yeah, but Xera's like kind of doesn't count. I will say he did get lower in points. He's only 70 instead of 80.
I think if you need a lone up, you need something like that in your build. I think he's still not horrible. Yeah. He has ignore on his pistols now, ignore cover. Yep. So that's kind of cool.
AP2 is great. He still overwatches for free on a 2-up as well, and he still shoots back at you at least once per turn, but it's only once per turn.
Yeah, I think I would take him if I was doing it. Probably if he was more like maybe 55, 60 points. I think then you'd see him a lot more. But because 70 points is like.
He does have loan up though.
Yeah. So
I do like the loan up. I think I would still take him.
Yeah.
But like flex.
If you need him. Yeah, he's got some utility.
Lich Guard.
He moves 8, so actually sorry.
Oh no, yeah, he's T5 5 wounds too. Like it's not nothing.
Nothing.
Lich Guard, they went down a lot in points. They went down 60 points for a full squad. They went from 230 to 170 for 10. 17 PBM. That's a substantial drop. And they're a hell of a lot worse, so it makes sense.
Don't think they're like horrible still.
They're fine.
I think you might be. I honestly think War Scythes might be pretty good with them.
2 attacks though.
Yeah.
2 attacks is so low.
I think if they had 3 attacks, then you're like, yeah, we're cooking here. We're cooking here with full. No, I don't know.
They're
all right. Maybe shields are the way to go. Man.
Maybe you do want that 4-up invul.
I wish you could. Was it Art of War? Jack, just like the lore, they need to be able to do 5 swords and boards with 5 war scythes in the back.
That would look really cool too.
Yes, I think that would be the way to go because it gives them a little bit more punch with a little bit of survivability. I think that would be
kind of fun.
Yeah.
Tri-Praetorians, my guy.
Bro, dude, I love these models.
I love them too.
But
I love the lore of them.
Yeah, that's right. And bro, for like the elite bodyguards, strength 5? Are you kidding me?
5 to 2, like it's not the worst, but
it is the worst. I'm sorry.
It's like
it's the worst.
You know that old statement where it's like things in 40K are always better when they're really good at one job. And if you try to make something okay at multiple jobs, it'll just always be worse than the thing that's good at one job. Praetorians are like, move 10, nice. T5 2 wounds, okay. Fly, nice. Little bit of shooting, little bit of melee, fall back and charge, reroll charges. Like they've got okay in every department, which makes them trash. And they're pointed badly.
So Christopher's asking, is Praetorians better in
Obeisans or Hypercrypt?
Yeah, Obeisans or Hypercrypt. I would 100%. I think probably Hypercrypt.
They already have Deep Strike built in though.
But I still think. Well, I guess you do get +1 to wound on Obeisans.
I almost feel like it would be Obeisans because the Strength 5 becomes a lot better with +1 to wound.
Surprised they don't have like Lance or something like that. They're like assault. They're like the premium that GW puts on like assault characters like this. Like they're like, it's just like,
yeah,
they're 240 points, aren't they, for 10?
They are 240 for 10. Yeah.
There's like no way I would take them.
No way.
I don't even think I would take them at 170. I don't. No. I'll take them maybe at 180. But here's the thing: it's like strength 5, my dude.
I would. So you could take 10 with the strength 5 dev wound pistol and do like the Voton thing. But yeah, I don't know. And no one can lead them.
Here's the thing though: you get the particle caster on Wraiths anyways, so you just take Wraiths.
Yeah, that's true.
For 220 points for 6.
Yeah.
At 4 wounds.
God
a 5
damn.
up feel no pain.
God damn.
A particle caster.
Yeah, they're so overpriced.
Yeah, they're extremely overpriced. And
sorry. Jacob Finney and Garrett Jizz. Thanks for the resubs, you two. Also, Sanguinius's left nuts with the $20 super chat. Sorry, this has nothing to do with the current conversation, but as I understand it, could you put 3 separate heavy weapon teams with las cannons inside of a Stormlord and fire las cannons out of it? What a question for me.
Dude, so right. That was so targeted.
Let me tell you, yes, sir. So while heavy weapon teams do take up the spot of 2 models instead of 1 in the thing, that would mean 3 heavy weapons teams would be 6, 6, 6, 18. So 18 slots in your capacity of 40 in the Stormlord with your firing deck of 24. Yes, sir, that would mean you may fire 9 extra las cannons out of your Stormlord. That being said, you are hitting on 5s because the weapons teams have heavy, but if you run Lord Solar Leontis, you can give the entire Baneblade +1 to hit, so you can then hit on 4s instead with 9 las cannons, as well as the other 4 las cannons the Stormlord has. And you know what? Shoot whatever something else with a Scout Sentinel, so it gets +1 reroll ones to hit. Go to town. Bucko. So
That was fun.
death marks. So death marks.
Um,
They're 522 heavy precision. There is an important caveat. They're once per turn. If reinforcements are set up with an 18, you can shoot them. There's no restriction. So like if you have 3 squads of 5 and something gets set up and they're all within range, all 5 can, like all 3 of them could shoot, I believe. I don't see any restrictions that tell me otherwise.
the only thing, okay, so I look at this as a lens from like what has been theorycraft and what kind of list you're looking at running. I don't know. Death marks are cheap enough to kind of just throw them in the backfield, but at that point, you're kind of like, maybe I just throw like some locusts back there and call it a day, maybe.
So I think death marks, they're 65 for 5, 130 for 10, 13 ppm. It's actually pretty cheap.
They're all right. I think they're all right. I think they're nothing to write home about. I wish a ballistic skill was 2.
The heavy does help a little bit.
True, they do have heavy, yeah.
I think so hypercrypt, because they have precision and it's 522. Like I can kind of see just bouncing them.
I don't even think you kill a Space Marine character with this.
No, maybe not with 5. Maybe with 5 depends on how you roll.
I still don't even think you do, because your strength 5, most of your characters are probably gonna be 4s.
Some are 4
a lot of your characters
wounds.
are 5s, -2 AP, you pop AOC, have 4 up invuln, so they're saving on 4s. They maybe take 1 or 2, if that.
4 or 5 wounds a character, maybe.
And then if you're going 10 death marks to actually kill something, you have to build for that, and then your build completely changes.
I mean, 10 death marks is 130. That's like not many points.
Or you can take, for that, pretty much that price point, you can take 3 Locust Heavy Destroyers and Mimic. Just
so
for 36 shots.
So I will say 10 of these guys being able to just shoot whatever comes in at like 18 inches of them, it's a giant 18-inch bubble of like, if you land near me and I see you, I can shoot you. That's kind of fun. Especially if you're fighting someone who's trying to do that kind of crap.
I just want to like have a Deathmark character that's able just to walk up to like model characters, to shoot them in the face, and then just go back into the dimension.
like in Infinite Divine.
Yeah.
You know, I could totally see 3 squads of 5 in Hypercrypt, because they have Deep Strike, as like action monkeys bouncing around.
Oh yeah. So the only argument I could think of is what could do that cheaper, and I think that nothing could do that cheaper. So I think you're right on that. How
65
much
for 5. Yeah, I don't think much could do that cheaper.
So
But plus, five shots of 522 is not nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, flayed ones. I think flayed ones are
great.
bad, but let me check their points.
I think they're okay.
Ooh, they were more expensive than death marks.
They're 70 points.
70 each. 70 for 5, 140 for 10. They have infiltrate and stealth.
And they have sustain hits ones with twin linked. 4 attacks each.
And if the enemy is below half
20
strength,
attacks.
every hit is a sustain hits 1. Like 4 attacks at 4/1/1 sustained and twin linked, like that will just shred like a 10-man squad of guardsmen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
I wish they had deep strike.
yeah, they don't have deep strike. It's actually a little surprising.
Because that's what they kind of have in the lore, right? They
literally have deep strike.
teleport.
Yeah, they had it in 9th.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's they're more.
Yeah.
I think if they went 65 points and then had that, then I think you have like a good 2 little units. I think flayed ones become better, way better than death marks at that point.
I think staple deep strike to them, and I think they're good.
Yeah.
So Crypto Thralls got nerfed heavily.
Put them on the shelf. Make sure they're protected so they don't get dust on them.
I mean, having 3 wounds is like kind of cool, but let's be honest, they were there for the feel no pain, and now they don't have a feel no pain, so they're not good. maybe protecting your Cryptex from precision, but
The Cryptok model has it, and that's it.
yeah. What are Crypto Thralls? 60 points. Yeah, they
Yeah,
needed to go
no,
down like 20.
they need to be like 35 points
What
to
do you
even
what
think
do you
about.
make of Tomb Blades?
Probably one of the best action monkeys you have in the book period. I think they're insanely good. 80 points for 3. They lost survivability, but they have a scout 9 and they have stealth.
It's also they actually have they're actually 75, not 80.
So I think they're probably the best action monkeys we have in the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if like game winning lists have 2 or 3 of them.
Scout 9, 12-inch move and move shoot move and move shoot move with one guy can have an assault weapon, so you can assault them for actions.
Yep.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think Tomb Blades are if you're not going to
these
use
Yeah.
like if you're not using Hypercrypt with death marks for your action monkeys, I think you use Tomb Blades.
These boys are, in my opinion, Canoptic Court. Canoptic Court, you're a little hypercrypt. Those boys are definitely up there. I think they're.
Yeah.
I think it's so. That's the thing, right? So this is what's the bummer is with death marks. You're like, do I just spend 10 more points for 12-inch movement, 9-inch scout that could zip around everywhere I need him?
Oh,
With
hey,
assault?
Endosim, gifted a sub. Thanks, my dude.
Oh,
Thanks, man. I
thanks, dude.
appreciate it. Thank you.
So, yeah, I think these are. You're gonna see a lot of them in competitive lists, or at least 2.
I feel like Tomb Blades can also be pretty disgusting move blockers. You move them 9, then you move them 12, and you can advance them hell if you feel like it. You shoot at something, and then you just shove them into some kind of crack. Hell, you might just scout them 9, move them 12, shoot something, and then just charge some guy to clog them up.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But like they're not as like good in terms of defense or shooting or anything, but their utility is increased excessively.
Yeah, they're super weak, but I mean, hell, dude.
Do you think you would do you think you take a twin Tesla carbine on one of them for the assault. But do you think you take particle beamers on the other 2? Because they have blast and dev.
I think it just doesn't matter. You're not expecting damage with them at all, so I don't think it really matters too much.
I'd probably take it.
I think if you were trying to optimize the most, that would be the way to go. 100%.
Yeah, because it's blast, it's got dev wounds, D6 shots, and like
one or two
before
devs,
before you shove them into your opponent, you get like 3 dev wounds on some random Joe Schmo, and you're like, cool, awesome.
It reminds me of like old school Smite is what the damage you're looking for on that.
25 points a model is like not cheap, but their utility is just so high.
Yeah, it's off the roof.
Yeah. So Scorpex and Ophidians are next. I think Ophidians are actually not bad because they've got utility because they do the thing where they leave and come back.
Yep. And these are also they're 100 points, right? They also have deep strike.
Yeah.
Their weapons are. Ugh. I mean, it's 5 attacks at 4, but I think they should be strength 5.
Yeah, they're like basic marine killers for the most part, or you're fishing for dev.
They're not. They're like it's volume versus. Yeah. So I think that you'll see maybe like one of these, maybe 2, in a competitive list because. I think a lot of the people are looking at like 3 Satans, a couple of Ophidians, couple like. What is it? A couple Tomb Blades, and that's kind of what they're looking at. So those are probably the cheapest options for utility that you have. So I think Ophidians are mid tier. I think upper mid because of what they bring to the table of utility.
Yeah, if you're not crypting around with stuff and you're using Ophidians for their thing, I think that is a better option. I think Scorpex, now that they have full rerolls to hit on the charge, it's actually a pretty substantial melee bonus there. But like
Yo,
T6.
I'm gonna pop dev wounds. I got a Scorpex Lord in here. Let's go. Oh, fuck, all of them went through. I don't get dev wounds.
Yeah. There's a little bit of So it depends. I like Scorpex destroyers. I feel like a brick of 6, even without the Lord, is actually not terrible because you can just kind of be annoying.
Yeah, I think they're better than what they used to be, and I think Dude, it's like one of those things. I think you're right. I think it's almost better to run 6 without the Scorpex Lord because you can go for the dead wounds essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So
kind of crazy to like in my mind, 600 points is 18 Scorpec destroyers. Like that's some like meat.
that's
Not
fun. That
not
sounds fun.
only it does sound fun. Like not only are they like they're T6 3 wounds, 3 up. Like it's
Mhm.
just annoying to deal with.
Dude,
Um
I'm a melee boy, and like that sounds so
it
fun,
sounds
dude.
really fun. Like Locust destroyers and Locust heavy, I think we both agree these are both money for different reasons.
I think they're really good. Yeah,
I
I
think
think that
Locust destroyers are disgusting.
I think Lucas heavy destroyers are disgusting. Well,
I
so
also agree with you. I think
I
both
think
are
they're both
disgusting.
really good. I think they're both really good. Yeah, I could see the argument for Locust heavy destroyers. The Destructor being not as great because it's super swingy as it is. I know
Mhm.
it's flat 6, it's very enticing, but then you're like, well, what if I just bring a War of the Worlds with me and Tom Cruise for 135 points versus like 150 for 3. So
Okay, so okay.
my
Um
boy, what did they do to my boy?
so hold on that for a second. So we both agree Locust destroyers and Locust heavy are great. The biggest issue with Locust destroyers is that the models are outdated as hell. Reanimate. Okay, so let's talk the reanimator because I have a hot take. I think it's still good.
I don't think it's good. I don't think it. So okay, give me your bulletin points why you think it's good, and
Okay,
then I'll
okay.
give you my bulletin points. I feel like this is
All right, so
fun.
its gun doesn't like suck. It's 2 of them, so it's 6 shots at 6-2-2-1. It hits on 4, so that's bad. But like, there's a little bit of that going on there. We've always played really cagey with our reanimators
Mm-hmm.
because we've had to.
Yes.
At T6, 6 wounds isn't the greatest profile, but at a 4 feel no pain, that's like annoying. That's like genuinely annoying to deal with.
All right.
At now, its range has been reduced drastically. It's only 3 inches, and it gains an extra D3 wounds, the usual. But it says every time it reanimates, so that will include res orbs. So your res orbs have become D6 plus D3, as well as regular reanimation. It also went down 30 points. It's only 75 from 105. So I don't genuinely think it sucks because on one hand, the res orb adds the extra D3, which can go in any phase specifically because it's a res orb. Making it 2d3 wounds is a lot better with warriors because you can reroll either dice. And you're gonna need more than 75 points to kill it because it's got a 4 up, feel no pain, T6 and 6 wounds. I genuinely think that like it's at its cost, it's annoying enough, and it has to be prioritized. Because if you don't prioritize it, everything is going to survive for way too long. All right, go.
Okay.
Or did I convince you?
I think you have a sound argument for it. I just think I would rather take 3 Tomb Blades to score points. So in my mind, look at the Canoptic Reanimator.
No,
at
I
3
forfeit.
inches.
You're right. With the moment you said 3 Tomb Blades, I was like, fuck, he's right. God damn, it's the same cost as 3 Tomb Blades. Damn it.
So the way that I look at this and I view it is, do you want to spend 75 points on a worst res orb? The reason I say that is because you'll get, in my opinion, maybe 1 turn or 2 turns worth of it. And it has to be so close to a unit, you'll be lucky if you get more than 2 units out of it. So in total, it might give you D3 wounds.
Side point. In order, your opponent will immediately need to prioritize this unit. It must be the first thing they deal with. And because of that, at a T6, 6 wounds, 4 up, feel no pain, probably with cover, they're going to have to dedicate more than 75 points to kill it.
So, counter argument to that. I think the way you're building stuff now doesn't have the, unless you go Awakened Dynasty. I think this in Awakened Dynasty is not bad because you have the battle tactic to constantly res that, but in the better ones, you're not going to have that. You have it in specific situations, like in the charge phase or in deep strike when you're not going to be around it. So you can't optimize it as much as you want to.
Counter argument.
Okay. Counter.
Canoptic Court has a 1 CP lone op strat for Canoptic units.
Okay.
It's a Canoptic unit.
This is fair, but you're pushing him in the mid board where everything's going to be within 12 inches of him that want to kill it.
But are you? Like, what guns would you dedicate to the reanimator? I put like las cannons and like tanks.
Oh, no, it's T6. You put like
With a 4-up, feel no pain.
You just put medium stuff into it. So, hey, this is also too, it's like this, right? You could take 6 scarabs and screen your whole line and nobody can charge you into your warriors.
So Christopher Clayton here said it's at worst a distraction Canoptic effects, which is 1, hilarious, and 2,
I love that actually. Good job.
I salt to taste, testing required. I need to test.
Oh, I respect that. Yeah.
It's the 4-up feel no pain is the thing I'm really banking on.
Yeah.
It's just so cheap. 75 is so cheap for what it can do. Also, I mean, like if we're really good at our movement phase, we could maybe hide it behind like a obscuring wall.
It's very, very difficult in my opinion, and then so to do stuff with it, it anchors another unit to it. So not only, and I see more downsides than I see upsides to it, and because we as Necron players have kind of shifted away from reanimation protocol stuff to other movement stuff, that's the only problem with it. Is that I don't think it's going to go into the playstyle unless you build around it.
All right, so here's the idea: you put one right behind a wall, and you put all 3 Catan right in front of it, and they all move up together. And if you don't kill them,
they both got this. They both have.
No,
they can't outrange it because they got like 3 inches of movement.
No. You run Canoptic Court with 3 Catan and him, and then you give it lone up and you stick him in the center. And it's like, you want to get close enough to shoot my Reanimator? Yeah, get close enough to shoot my Catan.
Dude.
You gotta be within 6 inches of my Catan in order to shoot my Reanimator.
Dude, I want you to do 3 Technomancers, 3 Reanimators, 3 Satan, and then Catans, and
all the
just
race.
do like taking the children out and just slowly move up.
Oh, okay. Scarabs.
I think they're not bad.
I think they're okay.
Yep, I think they have their niche because what I took them for was I was playing in Custodes, and the whole point of them, I took 2 6 units of it. I moved up they have 9 inches of movement, and next to a Cryptek, they get 1 OC. So I controlled all the objectives turn 1, and I screened all my warriors, so they had to shoot them off the board to charge my stuff. So it was nice. It sucked up a turn of shooting from the army pretty much, and it was worth it.
That sounds cool. I mean, honestly, a Scarab Swarm can explode for mortals, and I love that. And they reduce OC, and I love that. And they can get OC, and I love that.
I think giving the OC makes them good. I think if they didn't have that, they would not be good.
I also think they're the cheapest. They're the cheapest unit in all of Necrons. So, no, actually, that's not true. Locust Destroyer. Oh wait, no, they have to be minimum 3. They're 40 points for 3. Hell, even Hypercrypt, you just stick them in corners and you chill. You know, you do investigate signals.
You know what's cheaper than this? What? By 5 points. Nurglings. -1 hit melee, deep strike, 6
well, we're not playing chaos.
Oh, I love it.
So
I think they have a utility now versus what they did, because you're able to get OC now, and one of the better things is a Cryptek focused thing. So it's kind of cool to see them get a little glow up. I like it.
Yeah. Spiders.
I've heard talk of spiders being kind of okay.
So their melee is 5 attacks at 822 with 4 ups. They have a particle beamer. They're like, T7, 6 wounds. Oh, they get 2 particle beamers. Oh, so it's 2d6 shots, blast, dev wound. Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Dude, they're cheap. They got dev wounds, and they're T7, 6 wounds with they're pretty okay, I think.
The spiders are 75 each. They're not cheap. They're the same cost as a reanimator. The same cost as 3 tomb blades. Though I think actually the 5-up feel no pain aura against mortals and psychic attacks is actually pretty good.
I think the fact of the 6-up feel no pain is nothing to joke around either. Coming from a Black Templar player, if you're able to put that on like big vehicles or like big like Catan, no, not like vehicles, it's pretty big.
So you can take them in squads of 2. You could do one of both.
Yeah.
Also, a squad of 2 would make 4d6 blast shots with dev wounds, which is like cool, but they're also 150 for 2. Like that just feels so pricey.
Yeah, I've heard like there's nothing like they're not super bad, but I'm curious to see.
If I brought the Silent King, I bring a spider for the 6-up feel no pain. Do we even need to talk about wraiths?
Wraiths are probably the best unit in the game, right?
Or in the Necron Codex.
In the Necron Codex. It's just because they're tanky. Their melee is
fine.
Mediocre. I think it's okay. It's mediocre in my opinion.
Yeah, it's fine.
The particle casters is like where I think is kind of nice to have on them now. It's just you're gonna run 6, so you're gonna have what 18 attacks,
18
and you'll
shots. Probably do like 2 or 3 dev wounds. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice there. 3-up save, 4-up invuln. You're gonna throw a Technomancer. You're gonna heal D3 every end of the movement phase, and you're gonna have 5-up feel no pain.
Flying over a unit.
Yep.
That too.
They will get infantry, so they can go through walls. And that's their biggest downfall is because a Technomancer will go in them. They will have infantry, so anti-infantry will affect them.
Yep. I like. I mean, like, come on, they're wraiths.
Yep.
They're wraiths. They're amazing. They're insane.
Yep.
The Triarch Stalker is absolute dog shit and has been bad forever.
But the Scout 8 warrants is so much points. Like, it's so good.
But it sucks too because it's one of the only ways to get ignore cover, like shoot thing from them.
Not no more. Because you're
because
you have a stratagem.
Only against objectives though. I don't. So everything about the Doomstalker I love visually. I love that it has a 4-up invul. Its gun is good. Its little gun is cute. Firing on Overwatch on a 5-up is like whatever, until you run all of these Canoptic Doomstalkers and Hypercrypt in the backfield, and next thing you know, they're Overwatching on 5s with full rerolls to hit, and that's terrifying.
Yeah.
And then they become kind of okay, but they're 135, and that's expensive.
I think they're pretty good. I think for what they are, they're pretty good. I mean, you're just gonna throw 3 of them in your back line anyways in that detachment and just shoot away. If I had 3, I would have ran 3 instead of a Doomsday Arc, and then I would have had more points to do stuff. So I think they're nothing to write. I think they're good. I think they're good in the Canoptic Court. I don't think you take them in other stuff.
I would agree. What do you think of the Annihilation Barge?
Not there yet.
I think it needs to go down like 10.
How many points is it again? It's
115.
115.
I kind of like it. The Twin Tesla Destructor.
I see a lot of zeros in the AP.
Yep, that's the problem. I kind of don't hate its ability. You shoot something with a Twin Tesla Destructor, and then you roll a d6 for it and everything else within 3 inches of the unit, and on a 5-up, it takes d3 mortals. It's cute. Like, it's cute. 5-up isn't good, but if someone has like a really big pile of units, like it kind of forces them not to cluster.
It's only 1 gun, right?
No, it's 2 guns. It's a Gauss cannon and a Twin Tesla Destructor.
It's only 6 attacks.
No, it's the Twin Tesla Destructor, which is 6 attacks, and then it also has the Gauss cannon, which is 3 more.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I think that I don't think they know what they want to do with it.
Yeah, like
and
drop it 10 or 15.
I still don't think you'll ever see it even at that.
It
doesn't do anything decent, and so that's what the problem is. Because I could do this right now, dude.
Yeah, Plasmancers for mortals are
for
better.
50 points on a Locust Heavy Destroyer, I have better anti-infantry shooting.
You do. Plasmancers also do mortals better. Yeah. I don't hate the Barge. I think
it's a cool model. Better. I just wish it had like 2 las cannon shots for like 100 points.
Yeah.
I think that would be good. Yeah, like that would be kind of fun.
What about the Doomsday Arc?
200 points. I still think it's good. I like it.
It's 200.
Having the dev wounds. Yeah, it's 200 now. went down. Strength
Yeah.
18.
Pretty tanky. 4 wounds, 4 flat, blast heavy, dev wound. Yeah. It also still has a ton of anti-infantry shots that people kind of forget about.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah.
You get close to
I think
it.
it's pretty good. I think you taking 1's not out of the question. I think 2 is maybe, depending on what kind of meta you're in right now.
How are Ghost Arcs?
Ghost Arcs are not good right now because Warriors are not super fantastic right now.
Yeah, and all it does is give them a single reanimation.
I think if you
turn.
could put Immortals in them, then we're talking here, baby.
Yeah, Ghost Arcs seem too pricey.
Yeah, and if they affected Immortals as well as Warriors, I think then they would be. You're looking at money. I think that's the way you would run it. Because could you imagine throwing your 10 Immortals with the Plasmancer in them, moving up the field, jumping out, and doing your fuck off shooting? Sounds so good.
So
and then you could jump back in it and then move away so they don't die. Like that would be so good.
So what do you think? Okay, so the Doom Scythe.
Okay, so I almost took it.
Okay, so the fact that you can force an enemy to be -1 to hit, or get the possibility of insane D3 sustained.
So as people just completely forget the first bulletin point, because no one in their right mind will ever take it. Even somebody that is new at the game will not take it. They're like, I don't know what the unmodified crits on 5s. There's no way you would take that with a death ray. Like, so it's either or, and your opponent picks.
Yeah, so they would almost always pick. I will be -1 to hit.
You wouldn't. I don't think. Why would you not take that?
No, you're like, hey, I am your opponent. I am going to take the -1 to hit because if I get hit with a 5-up crit on the death ray, I'm so dead.
I'm just trying to think of why you would ever not take the -1 to hit.
Maybe because the unit you have is like a Bane Blade and it needs to hit. I don't know. Like it's fine. It's swingy as shit. It's super swingy.
The problem with the Doom Scythe, I almost took it. It doesn't have an invuln. It's only T9, so it's like a Rhino, so it's not super tanky, and it doesn't have hover, so you can't start it on the board.
Yep, that's the problem with the Doom. It's also very expensive.
If it had hover, I would have took it last week.
Yeah. There's also the Night Scythe, which is also not very good, despite the fact that it can be set up turn 1.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cute.
Yeah.
Like, it's cute. It's like, that's cool. You know? There's like, you know, you set up turn 1, you just bring it in, and then you drop some stuff off. Like, that's fun, but I don't know. I feel like it's really bad. Or you would consider playing the Warhammer Horde mode on this channel? Maybe one day. Not at the current moment. It takes a lot of effort to set up. They made a Nazi Zombies Horde mode, which is really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, to play, but it takes a bit to set. So I'd like to do that at some point, but not at the moment.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. Obelisk, your favorite.
We're skipping right past the Obelisk. I'm
okay.
Drastically turning the page because it's been bad for 20 years.
So Tesseract Vault kind of got a glow up here.
Yes, it got kind of a big one. It's 400 points, which is really pricey.
Very expensive, yes.
It has its Tesla spheres, 4 of them, which is nothing. 24 shots at 701 with sustained 2 is kind of cool. But its Catan powers are like good.
Yeah, you get 2 of them.
Yeah, you get 2 of them now. You either get a massively disgusting flamer with dev wounds, a really decent anti-elite with dev wounds, or the insanely hilarious roll of 4 up to just instantly kill a character ×0, cool. Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd ever take ×0, but it's pretty funny. Because it's like, hey, on a 4, by the way, on a 4 up, you just delete your enemy character, just gone. Which awesome. Is funny. Convergence of Dominion. So you can take one per. You can take them in individual models now. They're 60 points each.
How do they work? Actually, I was talking. I forgot who I was talking to. How do they work in player place terrain now?
I genuinely have no idea. I don't
They
think it,
were saying it doesn't matter. You can even put them on top of terrain.
I think it's technically a unit. It's just a unit that can't move. So you place it
Yeah.
and it's just there.
Mm.
It gives Necron infantry a 6-up feel no pain when they're near it, which is cool.
Not bad. Yeah.
They also give people the benefit of cover, which is
Mhm.
cool. And it also has a gun that is like not the worst.
50 points, right?
60.
60 points.
Might be worth it just for the 6-up feel no pain. Just one of them.
And then they said, well, they start the target at the range check, but each time this, unless it made a pistol, subtract 1.
Oh, it's basically just like, hey, if you're within engagement range, this is just a big building. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Past that. Oh, go ahead.
I'm curious to see if anybody will actually take it.
6-up feel no pain doesn't suck. It's not great, but it doesn't suck.
Monolith, baby.
Monolith.
Subbing the monoliths.
I mean, if you're bringing a monolith, you're taking it in hypercrypt, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
The death rays are a hilarious weapon. That is the swingiest thing I've ever seen. And I would totally take it. The particle whip is like insane.
Oh, sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
I have to stop you. Somebody just mentioned, Chris Cole just said, just take 3, bro, and put reanimators behind him and make it scary.
Just say reanimator hide behind. Then put a
reanimator. That was good.
There's your way to hide the reanimator. You put him behind a monolith.
Okay, sold. You got me.
Yeah, like I can't believe the particle whip. 3d6 shot blast 812 dev wound. Like wow.
Yeah,
and the 4 death rays and a decent melee weapon. And then of course, all your hypercrypt shenanigans.
I wish I had one. That's it. I just wish I had one. I would take it.
Wait,
sounds fun.
I gotta look this up. Damn it! I forgot his mechanical augmentation on Illuminor Xerath only works on battle line. I'm gonna give my monolith AOC. No, damn.
Carl, Illuminor Xerath is good.
He is good. Yeah. He's actually
really
great.
good. Yeah, he's really great in like immortal builds, and that's where I think that he will shine. So if you're taking probably 20 immortals, I would very highly consider him. I think 1 immortal is like, he might be a little too expensive because the problem with warriors is they already have a 4-up save, and so it's like they go to a 5-up, and if you want tankier ones, you throw Orican instead in them to give them 4-up and vuln. I think then they're better. So, and plus then they're being led by a Cryptech, and then you run them in the Cryptech detachment. So, but for his build with like the immortals, so good.
Yeah. And that's the last unit. There's also the Forge World stuff, but the Seraptic looks fine.
He's got support in the detachment now. Let's go.
Yeah, he actually does. You can do things now. Finally, is the Seraptic a Canoptic unit? Does that give him full rerolls to hit in the Canoptic Court?
I have 2% of my battery life, so I'll find out.
Have you not been charging your phone this whole time?
No, I forgot to.
My guy.
Hey. All right, so Imperial Armor Data Sheet, Heavy Conscript, Keyword, Vehicle, Walker, Titanic, Towering. Nope, it doesn't have it.
Oh, come on. I'd still run a spider with him.
Yeah.
So like, okay. So here's the thing, right? There was that talk a bit ago because the NIDS and the Marine Codex came out at the same time, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, wow, these both feel slightly worse than they were before, with the exception of the Iron Storm detachment, which is just really good with all the vehicles.
Yeah.
I wonder if now they're finally writing all the codexes at the same time, in a sense, and fighting them against each other, and they're supposed to be like a similar power level.
I think that they are nerfing things that are insanely good that they're seeing, and they're trying to bring everything down and make it more wide, essentially. Try and go wider versus like better is like the goal here, is what it feels like.
I agree.
I'm not saying this is like overpowered by any means.
No, I think
I
it's if
think
anything,
it's
it's the opposite.
I think agreed. I think it has a few tricks that are really cool. There's definitely just standout units, and I think that's the problem when you start nerfing it. Well, I think nothing is inherently horrible, except for a few
traces.
things, but nothing's. There's only a select few things that are good, are insanely good.
Yeah,
Do you think anything is even broken in this?
besides maybe the immortal or the immortal like dev wound combo,
But
but
they
even
don't.
that's not terrible.
Yeah, I think that's like totally acceptable for 2 CP, and it requires
Well,
200 points,
battle tactic.
and then it's a battle tactic. Yeah,
so it's not really 2 CP, but
yeah.
so it's 140 for the immortals.
But then that makes it like a 200 plus point. It's like 240 point model then, because you have to take
it'd be
2
280.
units.
It'd be 280.
Yeah, so it's be very expensive.
280 though, that would kill like
But it's
4
it's
Terminators.
But the thing is, yeah, so it's not guaranteed reroll wounds. It's only
Yeah,
and you
on
have to be in the power
objectives.
matrix to get. There's a lot of wickets to hit it, so I don't think it's like. I think it's actually like perfectly balanced, to be honest, because you
So-
have to hit 3 wickets to like for it to be good.
Yeah. So I think I agree with you. The amount of things that are clearly too strong are the same volume as the amount of things that are clearly too weak, which is not many.
Mm-hmm.
It feels pretty in between. My biggest problem is that 2 of the detachments are just like completely worthless.
I don't.
One of them
yeah,
is
it's kind of
completely
a
worthless.
bummer.
The other one is goofy, and I like it, but you know,
It's just like they're
Yeah.
too scared to give like their melee like the ability to fight up, and it sucks.
I gotta say though, like looking at this codex, I wouldn't put it like significantly above or below Marines or Nids.
I
Not
haven't played enough
significantly.
Tyranids. I think Marines is better.
Iron Storm is definitely better. Like
I think
clearly
even
better.
there's still even the what's the other one, like the index one, Gladius Task Force is definitely better.
And it's probably better too, yeah.
It's pretty. Well, the things with like the Marines is have a lot better units because they have so,
They have
many,
so many
units.
units,
That's the
yeah.
difference.
Like, I think Nids are like about equivalent with Krons.
Yeah.
I'd say they're about equivalent, at least in power. Well, we're also looking at this from an early perspective.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
You know,
very
we
curious
don't
to see
know.
where people that are actually insanely good at this game get their hands on it and take it.
There's also like a good bit of just good tech and utility. Like, I don't know, like you look at we talk about Locust Lords and like the damage that Locust Lords and Destroyers can do. But then we always just kind of forget that like, oh yeah, this unit is also like T6 with 4 wounds and also reanimates. And everything here has a 3-up save minimum. Well, mostly.
So here is Garrett's prediction of how this is going to run for the next 3 weeks. You're going to see a really bad win rate with this book, like a really bad win rate, because people need to adjust that they're not as tanky as they used to be, and they're still not as killy as other factions, but they're still killy. They still got, don't get me wrong, they still killy. And then people are going to run the hyper phase, like the movement shenanigans, and that requires a lot of like
It'd be good.
brain thinking. Yeah, it's like even like me running demons, like it's still super tough to do movement shenanigans properly and well. So you're gonna see it just tank, and then people are gonna like the Grey Knight players are gonna shift to Necrons, and they're like, okay, we got this, fam.
I think the book, I like my mind says the book is better than what I think it is. My brain says the book is like a bit mid. But I
okay.
But like I think it's better than mid. I finished reading this and I'm like, ooh, I don't really know about this. I'm not feeling too hot on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm wrong. I think there's a lot of factors that in what's the word I'm looking for? Like there's a lot of factors that individually make it seem kind of meh, but then when you slap like D3 regenerating wounds every single like command phase, every single, you know, your turn for the whole game, you know, that kind of changes things. And then I'm like, oh yeah, well this army also has a 3-up save minimum across the board, and a lot of things are T5. You know, like the Catons are really tanky, and then
I think you're gonna see a lot of just Catons, just a lot of them because that's where your damage and your survivability is.
I think
Um,
so too.
the I kind of remember jumping back to when I was talking about the Canoptic Court, where maybe the Hyper one could pass it in the future, is because the Canoptic Court has two really good combos for damage, and
Mhm.
their good players are like, I killed that first. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
good
be
players set that up.
yes,
Yeah.
and like thinking of like the reanimator thing too is you're like even if you push it up, you play a good player, they're like, yeah, you get maybe 6 back. It's not as bad as like 15 or 20 each turn. So I kill your warriors instead, and it's still
Yeah, though all the stuff that would regen like insane, like the Lich Guard and
yeah.
stuff, they aren't nearly as good, but they also got points drops.
So I think that this is a healthy way to go about it for the game wise. Is nothing seems like race are insane, but they're tanky. That's the difference. They're just tanky. Like
They
they
don't
could
do
put out
much
a little.
damage.
Yeah, they don't do much damage, but they're hard to shift. But it's healthy in the aspect is like it's not super insane. Nothing's gonna feel super oppressive in this book, and you have more options now to play Necrons, and that's the fun part about it, in my opinion, is that
I agree.
nothing's gonna feels bad, and everything's gonna be like it's fun. I can now jump around as Necrons. It's super cool. It's kind of lore accurate, and then you have like the cryptex are like aligning the stars and giving me full rerolls. Like that's also really cool. So I think I like the design philosophy somewhat going into it. It's a bummer some things got nerfed, but I mean, it's okay. I understand that playing against unkillable Lich Guard or
It's not
kill
fun.
literally you get Necron warriors to 1 and then you're like, all right, I got 20 back, and you're like, oh man, that feels bad. So I'd rather have a fun game with no feels bads than like winning a game with a whole bunch of feels bads.
I genuinely think that a couple points drops, like 5 to 10 on a couple characters, and then like roughly like the same 10 or 15 points drops in some of the vehicles that are a bit too overpriced, like some of the
Mm-hmm.
flyers and stuff. I think, and like the arcs and stuff. I think after that, I think that's all it would really need. But again, this is all total
Yeah, it was just
early thoughts.
it, so, and then that's the only thing I just hope that we don't into the world, because you can already kind of see it where it's like nothing super great and it just makes them be really bad, and then you're like, we just need points drops, and then now you have a gigantic horde army
Yeah.
again.
Like
But
yeah, because I think immortals and like death marks and warriors are all pointed fine. The
mhm.
cryptex are all pointed fine. I think just a few other things need a little tap. All right.
Yeah,
Anything
I
else?
think
Oh, go ahead.
no, I think this book is gonna be fun to play.
Yeah.
I think it's right where like books should possibly aim to, because it's no fun having a Drakari Codex come out or something of that nature,
Yeah.
or
Ninth edition.
Harlequins or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
The game is
but
still less killer than it used to be, which is good.
mhm. So,
Yeah. I mean, that's all I got to say. Do you have anything else you want to say? Or are you feeling good?
dude, feeling good. I like it.
All
They were
right.
fun to play, so I'm curious to play some more of them.
Sweet. I also want to do the same. I want to see what I can bounce around in.
Yeah,
Well, for everyone watching, both on YouTube and on Twitch, thank you so much for stopping by and our little rundown of the Necron Codex. I don't know if we'll have a chance to do an AdMech one because none of us really play AdMech much. And so there's not a whole lot of bouncing between.
I feel like the TLDR is stay strong, Kings. Stay strong.
What are the points of AdMech? Aren't they like a little
It's
better?
not good.
It's not
No,
good.
it's not good from what I hear.
Okay, well,
Um,
keep running the rad bombardment one because it's funny. Um, and then and yeah, so other than that, appreciate you all coming out, stopping by, talking and chatting, and we will see you for hopefully a battle report or something like that in the future.
Heck
Peace
yeah.
out.
Cheers, guys.